For Carlton, hope springs. Perhaps not eternal, but at least ahead of this round 17 game against Fremantle. The Blues have won back-to-back contests against the Gold Coast and Hawthorn, and they're still in the finals mix. So too are the Dockers. But after a couple of straight losses, Freo know their season hangs on a knife edge. The Blues have won thrillers against the Dockers in recent times. In 2019 here, Mark Murphy sealed the 4 points late. It was only the second time that Carlton had been in front all day. And in 2020, they went even more miraculous. Jack Nunes kicked after the siren from outside the boundary in the right forward pocket to win the game for the Blues after they hadn't led since the 2-minute mark of the opening term. Could something miraculous like that happen today? Good to be with you. Clint Wilden here at Perth Stadium as the Dockers and the Blues go head-to-head in a game that will decide one of these teams' finals fate. Lose and you're done for 2023. Mathematically still a chance, pragmatically none whatsoever. So there's an awful lot at stake with the 4 points that go up for grabs this afternoon. Mitch Turner is alongside me on debut on Grandstand AFL. Welcome, Mitch. Good to have you on board.
Great to be here, Clint, Sharad, Cara. Very good to be here. Excited to be part of the ABC sport and football team for the remainder of the season and going forward after that, we all hope. So a cracking game, hopefully, today. As you say, Clint, big ramifications for both teams in their kind of search for a finals berth. So either way, whichever result happens today, there'll be one side going away with a bit of soul searching, and they'll find it very, very hard to make the 8 from there. So a big day for both sides. Some milestones on both sides of the field as well. For Fremantle, the home side, of course, the captain, Alex Pearce, makes his 100th appearance in the AFL and for the club. So pick 37 back in the 2013 draft out of Devonport, Tasmania. So he's locked in at the Dockers for a little while longer. The skipper is not just yet feeling the urge to go back to an expansion side in a few years. So 100th game for Alex Pearce made his debut against Essendon back at Subiaco all the way back in 2015. We know he's had some struggles with broken legs and injuries, but he's now leading the club and doing a very good job. So congratulations to Alex Pearce from Fremantle. Of course, the Blues have their own milestone men today. Nick Newman plays game number 131 for Sydney after he was taken in the rookie draft in 2015 with pick 35 from Frankston. He joined Carlton in 2019 and plays game 67 for them today, 100 AFL games. And Charlie Curnow, the big key forward, also notches up the ton today, playing game number 100. We know what his resume looks like in recent years. The Coleman medalist and All-Australian last year, and the last time we saw him here at Perth Stadium, he kicked 9 goals against the Eagles in a truly dominant performance. So congratulations to those 3 players today on their 100th game in what should be an absolute cracker.
So 100 games for them. Debut for you with Grandstand AFL, and a debut too for the Fremantle Dockers. Carl Warner will play his first game for Fremantle. Has had to wait some time for it, taking the rookie draft of 2022, and then had to come across during the COVID years and spend some time in isolation before he could really get going. So best of luck to Carl Warner, who has been in good form with Peel Thunder after spending a bit of time in the Peel reserves. He's the sub today for the Dockers. George Hewitt, the sub for Carlton. Blue skies, few clouds about. Fairly breezy day here in the west. We were expecting a bit of rain, but nothing currently on the horizon. Fingers crossed that remains the case. We'll head downstairs in just a moment. Justin Longmuir, the senior coach of Fremantle, about to join us. But before we head down there, very good afternoon to our 2 experts. Premiership Pie, Sharad Wellingham, and alongside him, former Fremantle Dockers AFLW captain Cara Antonio. Welcome to both of you. This is a big contest for both of these clubs. I'm really pumped for today's game.
Hey team, hey listeners, yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail on the head. Obviously Carlton have won the last couple and Fremantle just been hit and miss this year. So I'm really excited. It's a beautiful day here at Perth Stadium. I'm really excited to see the midfield battle unfold as the day goes, and also the battle between, or who takes Charlie and Harry up one end, and Jai Amos has been exciting as well. So just to see the forward v back battle as well, I think it'll be a really great contest.
Yeah, good afternoon, team and listeners. A very exciting game. Perfect day for it. Doesn't get much better than this. Nice Saturday or Sunday afternoon where the weather is like this. It's just prime time football conditions. So, yeah, cracking game. And I love the byplay of the game as well, with so many ramifications. You look at what can happen for both sides both sides. And Fremantle, for mine, if they do miss out on finals this year, it's not a loss for them as a season on a whole, because I think that they just probably outdid themselves last year by making those couple of finals with such a young and inexperienced side. But if they do manage to sneak in, it's just another massive tick. So huge ramifications, and I love that kind of byplay in a game like this when both teams have so much to win and lose. Game
earlier today. If you've just joined us, Geelong beat North Melbourne by 62 points at the Cattery. There's a game underway as we speak. It's at Docklands between the Bombers and the Crows, and the Bombers lead that by 30 points. Time on in the second term, 11-8-74 to 7-2-44. The other member of our team today is Poppy Penny, and she's downstairs with the senior coach of the Dockers. Poppy?
Downstairs with the Fremantle head coach, Justin Longmuir. Justin, obviously a disappointing finish to last week's game. How have you reviewed the final term at the Bulldogs?
We touched on the final term, obviously. There's a few things went wrong in that. It was a pretty short period of time. It was about a minute of game time where they kicked 3 goals, had 8 possessions, 7 of them contested. We just fell apart in the contest for a brief period of time, and then we lacked composure to be able to stay in the game and keep scoring. But we reviewed that part of the game quite heavily, but we also reviewed the middle part of the game where we were pretty dominant. We were on top in the contest. I think we were plus 20 ground ball, where we got smashed by Western Bulldogs last time, so our contest was much better and we did a lot right. Just probably felt like we should have been a couple of goals up at three-quarter time rather than a couple of goals down and in a better position.
This is a huge match for both teams in the context of the season. Have you guys spoken about that in the club?
No, I don't tend to talk about those things too much. There's enough outside noise about how important the game is. What we try and do internally is make sure we're really focused on what we need to execute to be able to get on top of Carlton and get the win. So, we've focused pretty heavily on the process this week, like we have and do every week.
How big of a loss is Nat Fyfe? Obviously, huge. He's come back from injury and he's now got that stress fracture. How big of a loss is he?
Yeah, it's a big loss. We've been splitting his time between the midfield and forward, and he's a big body. He's a mature leader throughout the midfield when he's there. So it's a loss, but we're going to have to step up, and younger mids in Jono and Erasmus are going to have to step up and take a bit of the slack.
Downstairs with Justin Longmuir, the Fremantle head coach. I'm going to throw upstairs to Clint Wilden, Mitch Turner, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
JL, good luck for this afternoon's game. Sharad here, mate.
Thanks, mate.
We've seen Carlton have some big wins over the last couple of weeks. Have you seen much different from them? Because they were in a bit of slump in the lead up to those big wins.
They've probably got their stoppage dominance back. I think they kicked 72 points from stoppage against Gold Coast. 50 of that came out of centre bounce, so that was a... that's obviously back. I think from their back half, they've taken a few more risks and tried to get a bit more energy and go a bit quicker with ball in hand, and that's probably come out in a couple of ways. They're more handball receives, and they're probably getting a few more gauntlet straight looks at goal than what they were earlier in the year. So probably taking a little bit more dare would summarise that, and we're prepared pretty well for that this week.
I'm kind of glad you said that, because it leads into my next question. You guys are 3rd for hit out, but 12th for total clearance. Do you think today, going up against what I think is a slightly undersized and going up against your 2 big guys, a real opportunity to capitalise on that?
Well, it's definitely an opportunity. It's, like I said to the players during the week, it's not always easy though. When a team comes with big-bodied mids and they're trying to nullify you, it's not. We're not going to get it all on our own terms around stoppage. So we've got a fair few go-tos we can go to. It's not we can't get on the outside, and they're really locking it up. So implore the players to be patient and connected to the game and what's going on, and be able to problem solve throughout the day if it's not going our way.
JL, good luck this afternoon. Cara Antonio here. Alex Pearce, 100th game, skipper of the club. I want to get a bit of insight. How have you seen his growth as a player, but more importantly, in his leadership role this year?
It's been massive. He came to the club as a tall forward out of Tassie. He's turned himself into one of the best key defenders in the comp. But he's had so many hurdles he's had to get over along the way. Missed 2 whole seasons with injury. And then sprinkled with other missed games with other injuries as well. So he's had to build a lot of resilience and stick at it, and really admire him for that. And Yeah, the whole time he's not only been working on his on-field performance, but also his leadership, and he's turned himself into clearly our best leader in terms of being able to demand of his teammates and leading by example during the week. So he's a really important cog in our club, and hopefully he's over those injury hurdles and he can get a real clear crack at it now.
And exciting news this week for the footy club. Obviously, Jai Amos, Josh Tracy and Matt Johnson all signing pretty big contracts to extend into 2026 and beyond. How exciting is that for the club and to the fans, knowing that those young stars will take this club further?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's good recognition that they see that for the club, because they see this is the best place for them to be their best self, and it's good that they can see opportunity that where they're going to take their footy forward and take us forward as a club. So they're all we've seen their talents on the field, but they're all high character off the field, and I'm looking forward to working with them over the next period of time.
Last one for you, Justin, and thanks for chatting to us. I love Jai Amos. How exciting could he become between now and 2029 when he's locked in with Fremantle?
What do you mean become?
Very good.
Like I've been saying, Clint, he's got so many strings to his bow in the way he can kick goals, and I mean he's been locked down probably with more physical senior defenders the last couple of weeks, but he's been able to follow up and get him at ground level and hit the scoreboard from ground level. Once he builds a tank and the strength to be able to compete, but also get up the ground and create scores up the ground and have the tank to be able to work up and work back. It's a bit like Jeremy Cameron, I suppose. He's going to turn himself into a really good all-round medium tall forward. So he's really exciting, and like I said about all those young fellas, I look forward to working with them over the next years to come.
Thanks for the chat, JL. Good luck.
Thanks, guys. Good on you. And Cara.
Head coach of the Fremantle Dockers, Justin Longmuir, downstairs. The Dockers running out. They're warming up to the right of our broadcast position. They're wearing their Indigenous jumper today. NAIDOC week having just finished. So the Dockers in their Indigenous jumper. The Blues raise their banner. Dockers paying tribute on theirs to 100 games to their captain, Alex Pearce. As you'd expect, both Nick Newman and Charlie Curnow being celebrated on the Blues banner, as it's been raised here, with Carlton wearing their white away jumper, making their way out onto the ground, which means we can head back downstairs as well. Let's go into the Carlton camp as the Blues about to burst through. Last time they were here, 108-point winners over West Coast. They haven't done the double in the West for 13 seasons. Will they be able to do so this afternoon? Let's find out. Poppy Penny is in the Blues camp. Poppy.
Downstairs with the head of football for the Carlton Football Club, Brad Lloyd. This is obviously a huge game for the Blues. Finals hopes. What are your expectations for today?
Oh, look, we'd like to continue the form of the last couple of weeks. Like we've certainly been building momentum. So now we come up against quality opposition. So look forward to challenging ourselves today.
The loss of De Koning against Jackson and Darcy is obviously huge for you guys. How big of a challenge is this for Jack Silvani?
Oh, yeah, huge challenge. Yeah, a couple of really great ruckmen there. Know them both really well, particularly Darcy. So, Louis Young will play in the ruck as well with Jack Silvani. So they're going to have to compete and just, really break even and make a good contest of it. So we rate them highly, so they're going to have to do their best today.
Does it change much for you guys in terms of your structure around the ball and at contest?
Oh, look, we've got some big body bids in there that love to compete, so not really. It's really just making sure they bring it to ground and give our mids a chance. So it's competing really hard and not allowing their rucks to put it on a platter.
Downstairs with Brad Lloyd, head of football for the Carlton Football Club. I'm going to throw upstairs to Clint Wilden, Mitch Turner, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
Hey Brad, Cara Antonio here. Good luck for this afternoon. Just listening to Vossi over the last few weeks and your last few wins, he's spoken about even contributions and selfless team performances. How have you managed this shift to on-field wins? I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, look, Vossi's message has been pretty similar throughout the year, but there's been really strong improvement. It's been great for Vossi to see the and for the playing group to just see us starting to get a bit of momentum and seeing some of the messages Vossi's been giving come to life with our contest and starting that in the middle, and then the pressure and defending as a team. So all those things have started to show out over the last couple of weeks, which has been great for the message Vossi's been pushing throughout the year.
And Fremantle, a bit hit and miss this season. What's your homework? What have you focused on during the week, and how do you beat them this afternoon?
Yeah, I think Poppy was talking about it earlier with the rucks. So they've got a really good ruck division, really important. We've got some strong mids, so they'll bring a huge contest in there, and so it's going to be a huge battle in the midfield. So we need to at least break even in there and sort of gain some advantage and give our really good forwards a chance. But they've got some good ruckmen, and the midfield is really strong as well.
Lloydie, Sherrod, good luck for this afternoon's game, mate. We've seen you guys have some really good wins against Fremantle in recent history. I think you've won 4 out of the last 5 or 5 out of the last 6. Do you look back at those previous games, or do you only look at Fremantle's last, say, 2 or 3 games and take what they're doing out of that window?
Yeah, things change pretty quick. More the recent games, more so than anything else. But look, we've enjoyed travelling over here the last couple of years. We've had a good win against West Coast here earlier. So the boys enjoyed the travel here, and but really respect Fremantle. They're really on the rise. They're probably at a bit of a similar level to Carlton with us on from a rebuild point of view, and starting to really mature as a group and compete against good sides. So we're looking forward to playing them today.
And speaking to some of the Fremantle, they've identified that you guys are probably taking the game on a lot more. Is that something that we're going to see again from your team today? Yeah,
certainly. Winning out of the middle. We weren't winning enough ball in the middle, and then we're really starting our play from deep in our back line and really finding it hard to get moving and getting stuck down back. So, we have really encouraged run and overlap run and use of handball and taking some quality kicks as well. So and the quicker we've moved the ball, our ball use has really improved and given our forwards a really strong chance. So all those things we'll continue to encourage.
Brad, Mitch Turner here. You've developed a bit of a theme the last few years of taking away some pretty important players from the Fremantle group. Blake Acres was a big part of their push to finals last year. Are you expecting any response from the Fremantle players today towards him? Have you spoken to him about it? Has it been raised around the group?
Oh yeah, well you mean with Blake and Adam Cherry? Yeah, look, not too sure there. Yeah, it's going to be, I think, just across the board. Players are pretty professional these days and get used to player movement and so forth. So, look, it's funny. I guess Adam Cherry in particular, I know he's really, really close with some of the young Fremantle players, Brayshaw and Sarong and these guys. So I think there'll just be that friendly rivalry. But I think they've all got white line fever. So it's they'll all be into it as much as each other.
Brad, a last one for you, but a couple of milestones today. Of course, 100 games for Nick Newman and 100 games for Charlie Curnow at a ground he's had a bit of success at. Yeah, look, rap for Charlie. Yeah, look back when I first started the club, been in the club 5 years, he was in a bad way from an injury point of view, and hard to get going, and you just see this prodigious talent struggling to get moving. But the way he's playing, he's a star, and it's a pleasure to be able to sort of watch him on a weekly basis up close. So, super player, really excited for him and his family with what he's been through. And Nick Newman, I think he's a rookie through Sydney, coming out of Frankston, and he's really worked hard. And 100 games is super effort from him, and really important player with his ball use. So, really good effort from both the boys. Appreciate you taking the time to chat to us. Good luck today. Yeah, thanks very much. That's the Carlton head of footy, Brad Lloyd, there, speaking with Poppy Penny. The Blues warming up to the left of our broadcast position. The Dockers continue to warm up at the city end of Perth Stadium. Half-time in the game that's still underway. Essendon versus Adelaide at Docklands, and it's the Bombers by 37 points, 12-9-81 to the Crows, 7-2-44. Earlier today, Geelong by 62 over North. Not too far away from a start here at Perth Stadium. Who goes to who? How's this game won and lost? Thoughts before we get cranking with Cara Antonio and Sherrod Willingham?
For me, it is that midfield ruck combination. Who's going to get the most dominance and ascendancy from the hands of the ruck? I think that for mine, Fremantle are probably coming in with the upper hand, but they have to capitalise on that and make sure that Darcy and Jackson team up really well. I'd love to see them both in there and continue that role where Jackson acts as the extra mid.
Yep.
Because Carlton have that really big-bodied midfield. They have a lot of presence in there and may be able to take away some of that outside, I suppose, advantage that you can get from getting your hands on it early. So I'd love to see that match up against Jackson going in there and just bullocking around and coming out and breaking away because, I think that with Silvani as the backup, and then that's when I think Jackson goes in and does the rucking against Silvani, gives Darcy a chop out. I don't know why. I was just looking at the sides then, and if they are getting absolutely monstered, do they have to use Mackay or something up there to give them a little bit of presence in that ruck to I suppose lessen the load on Silvani? I think that Carlton really does throw Silvani to the wolves sometimes with the opponents that he has to, and he does such a good job for an undersized ruckman, and I really commend him on that. But it's almost like, when is he going to be I think he's a great forward. He hits up so well at the ball. Let him go play forward and get a little bit of an extra chop out. I don't know.
Well, Carlton almost have to concede. They're going to lose the hit outs. We know that, but how can they get to work when ball hits the ground and work on their inside to outside game with the big bulls like Chera, Cripps, Doherty's been playing in there as well. Kennedy, I like his stuff that he's been doing. Walsh. So they just need to find a little bit of balance. Because when ball goes into their forward half of the ground, you've got Charlie Curnow and Harry Mackay down there, and I'm really interested to see who will match up on them. I reckon it's got to be a Cox or a Ryan to Charlie. He'll play a bit higher, they're a bit more mobile, and probably your Pearce will go to Mackay. So down the other end, you've got Jai Amos, who we've spoken about, and you've got Tracy down there, a little bit more undersized compared to the Carlton forwards. So... And we know that they're going to run off halfback. Both sides want to repel from that, that 60-40 area of the ground and be able to score down the other end. So I'm intrigued, but I reckon 100% exactly like Brad Lloyd and JL have both spoken about pre-game, it is going to be won and lost in the centre of the ground, and who gets ascendancy in there, we'll wait and see.
It's a funny one because you don't often see a side that we think pre-game is going to have as much hit-outs to advantages as Fremantle probably will today, but then not believe that they will get full bang for that buck because of the size of the Carlton mids who are going to be able to really lock down on the Sarong and Brayshaw. It's a funny little combination of matchups that we're going to see today. So yeah, and I don't think we want to see Carlton quick kick it from those first possessions or when they do get their hand on the ball. Continue to run the ball at the Fremantle defenders and use the hit-ups really to advantage, and that'll go a long way for them getting efficiency inside their forward 50.
Well, you want to get isolation ahead of the ball for Carlton because currently Luke Ryan is the best player at marking the ball in the comp. So you want to get the ball away from him, lower the eyes and hit up your forwards.
And I think that on the other side of the coin, Fremantle want to get it in there pretty quickly, I think, and let them get to work nice and fast. So quick ball movement, get it in there fast.
Toss of the coin, Mitch.
Alex Pearce winning the toss of the coin, accompanied by Michael Walters and Liam Henry during NAIDOC week as well, the three Indigenous players for Fremantle today out in the middle of the ground. So Alex Pearce wins the toss, kicks to the right-hand side of your radio dial if you're looking at it there. So Fremantle with the first win of the day as the two sides huddle up and give their last addresses before, as we say, what is a massive, massive clash for both sides.
So Alex Pearce handing across a message stick. There's nothing more Carlton than this, I reckon. The Blues giving Fremantle a cheese board with Indigenous artwork on it.
Is it a cheese board?
A cheese board.
How do you know it was a cheese board?
Because we got told.
Oh, really? That's all right.
I asked the question, what's your gift? It's a cheese board, an Indigenous painted cheese board. I like it, but a cheese board.
Hopefully it gets used.
We'll wait and see. Poppy Penny's downstairs. What's it like there, Poppy?
It's a little bit breezy, it's a little bit cool, but for now there is blue skies, and sitting down here, not under any cover, I'm hoping it stays that way. The subs for both teams, Warner for Fremantle and Hewitt for Carlton. Obviously Warner in for his very first game.
Big game for both clubs. Finals hopes on the line. The Dockers hosting the Blues. Mostly clear skies as a helicopter flies by above us. Let's get started on Grandstand AFL. Here's Mitch Turner.
So Lewis Young given the first bounce duties for Carlton today in the ruck. will go up against Sean Darcy. Ball goes in the air. Young actually wins the tap down. Tries to follow up his work. No one wants to take possession in the middle of the ground. Players diving in. Cripps on hands and knees gets it out to Walsh. Then Doherty retreats. Finds Boyd. Kicks it out. Finds a man on the wing in space. Carlton, the first chain of possessions for the day, and it's Cottrell who'll make the first attacking move forward. Kicks to half forward. The kick looking for Mackay, but was short and cut off. Well read by Jordan Clark, who will be able to set the Dockers up from half back and find Liam Henry. So Henry looking for an option. Nothing presents, so kicks long down the line. Jackson the target. Doherty couldn't mark. Spills to ground level. Nick Newman in game 100 gets his first touch. Feeds it wide to Boyd, just stutters for a moment, and the kick was awful. Straight to Brayshaw on the wing. The Dockers win it back. Switkowski retreats to Young. Now to Henry, getting his hands on it again early. His kick looking for Darcy, can't mark. Young did well. McGovern recovers for the Blues. Gives it to Newman on centre wing. Gives it to Boyd, then Doherty, and the kick towards half forward is cut off, and the Dockers win possession back.
So Young has it after the mark came from Ryan. He kicks around the body and then Henry marks.
Henry's continued into the same possession form as last week. Great start.
And a ball magnet the last fortnight, Henry. Moves it short. This is Brayshaw. Will kick down the southern wing. Arms up, Darcy. Big mark. Early stages of the mullet starting for Darcy there as he hands it off to Young. Kicks the Dockers inside forward 50. Wanted Jackson. Spoil came at the back. Spills down. Chance to get a hand pass forward through Clark, meant for Walker. The Blues respond and they repel. It comes quickly through hands. Kick away now from Fogarty towards the commentary wing. Chases on. Curnow up against Cox. Curnow got there first. Cox wraps him up. No prior. Ball up the call. Left half forward. As far as the Blues are concerned, no score so far. 2 minutes gone opening term. Grandstand AFL from Perth Stadium.
It's a great win from Cox. First up in his first contest with Curnow. Ball back into play. Young fed it to Schultz. The Dockers trying to work it off. Half back. Sard cut it off. Comes to Fogarty. Little chip over the top looking for Mackay. Pearce did well. Falls the way of Cunningham. Coming through the Dockers again. Diving in is Pearce. He's in trouble. The umpire was about to blow the whistle. Let it play. The ball back underneath the pack. And eventually the umpire calls for the ball and will ball it up 40 metres out from Carlton's attacking goal. So Darcy and Mackay in the ruck this time. Ball comes down. Ryan wins it for Fremantle. They retreat. Under pressure is Walker. The kick across the face of goal. Couldn't find a target. Goes out of bounds. It will be a boundary throw in 30 metres around from Carlton's attacking goal. 3 minutes played here at Perth Stadium.
Carlton covering the exits really well there.
Still no score. Ball to be spun back in. Left forward pocket for the Blues. Darcy, who won it down against Mackay. Walsh got it on to Mackay. Gets the kick away with the left. Cox, last man back, got a hand to it and then takes it across the behind line for a rush behind. First score of the day going to the Blues. They lead by 1, 3.5 gone opening term.
So Ryan brings the ball back into play, finds Cox, short in the pocket, continued on, got it back, kicks towards the broadcast wing. Tracy plants underneath, couldn't mark, falls the way of Schultz, or his kick's a grubber. Diving in was a Carlton Black, couldn't get it to Chin Connor, and the ball goes out of bounds. Off the hands of Sard, it'll be a ball up right between the interchange gates here on the broadcast side.
In front of the Carlton interchange gates, it's put back in. Rucks go at it. Darcy won it down against Young. Came out to Cripps though, to Chera, to Newman, back to Chera from the wing. Hand passes forward to Cunningham. Hand pass again to Cripps. Beautifully gathered. Pops a hand pass away to Walsh in the clear. Kicks into the left forward pocket. Mackay got hands to it, couldn't mark, spilled away, dives over it. Walker looks to lock it in. Ball up the call.
A couple of really good contests from Pearce there early on Mackay. Just wearing him like a glove.
Chance here for the Blues. They've been inside their forward 50 a few times now. Darcy won the tap down to Young, met by two Blues either side. Nicely locked in. Cunningham one way. Now he's the other. They throw it up again. Darcy palmed it down to Akers. Snaps at goal but misses. Former Docker would have liked that. It's to the left from the left forward pocket. Blues double their score. They're 2 behind. Dockers yet to open their account. 5 minutes gone. First term on Grandstand AFL. Here's Mitch Turner.
So the Blues dominating possession in their forward half to start this match as the kick comes back out to the wing. Brayshaw, unable to gain possession, now does. Uses Schultz in support, or slipped over. Was taken in a tackle. The Blues win it back. Cunningham gives it to Chera. Kick goes inside forward 50, looking for Mackay. Can't mark. Once again, Pearce, wearing him like a glove, was able to get it out of bounds. We'll have another throw in, but another inside 50 for the Blues. 40 metres around from goal again.
Also seen 7 hit-outs from Freo to 0 clearances with 5 to Carlton. Exactly what we thought we might see.
So Darcy got his hand to it, got it down to Sarong, couldn't take clean possession. Now Aish diving in, was driven into the ground in his back, will win the free kick. Just inside defensive 50 at right half back. So James Aish in the long sleeve Indigenous jumper kicks to the wing. Tracy can't mark. The Blues try to win it back through Akers. Handballs it forward, just looking for territory. Walsh came through, trying to find a teammate in Kemp. Couldn't get there. The Dockers trying to win it back. Now they do. Schultz, hands and knees, just dropped it. Umpire allowed to play on. Young, tumbling kick towards the forward 50 for Carlton. Walker leads the way back. The boundary line beats all comers, and it'll be another throw in 60 metres around us. There's a bit going on between Mackay and Alex Pearce, the Dockers captain. There's just a bit of push and shove at the start of this game. A lot on the line here in this clash.
Early pleasantries exchanged. Darcy won it down straight though to Cripps. There's another tap, but a clearance from the Blues as Akers kicks high into the left forward pocket and punched away defensively by the Dockers, and over the boundary line for another throw-in.
Hotly contested footy at the moment. Sorry, Clint. Only 7 marks for the game so far. So
yeah, just not getting much separation and much, I suppose, isolation for those inside 50s that they are getting, Carlton.
4-1 their inside 50 so far. 10-5 ground ball gets as well. Throwing back in. Darcy palms it down. This time straight to Sarong. Clearing kick. Bounces towards right half back for the Dockers. Sard was there. Hand pass forward. Walters got in the way. Worked it on to Schultz. Tried to shovel a hand pass forward. Couldn't quite get it to Tracy. The ball spilled out. Tracy then affects the tackle. Wrapped up Newman. Coming the other way was Fredericks. Just on the inside of the logo commentary wing. There'll be a ball up. Umpire puts it aloft. Darcy wins it again. Tapped forward by Sarong. Was meant for Brayshaw. Akers got there first. Comes out towards Walsh. Now to Silvani. Stepped inside a Docker. It's a lovely foot pass forward. On to Kennedy. Moves it to Akers. Kicks Carlton inside forward 50. Crashing in from everywhere. It spills out the back. Pearce gets there first. He's in trouble. He's tackled. Taken to ground by Curnow. What will the umpire do? He's going to see a free kick going the way of the Docker. In game 100, Alex Pearce gets the free kick in front of his defensive behind line. Oh, a little bit high, a little bit lucky, it must be said, as he went to ground. Curnow got him around the shoulder.
So a little bit of luck in game 100 for the Dockers skipper as the ball comes out. Walsh flew hard. Johnson came through, taken in a strong tackle. Walsh now inside 50 for Carlton. They're surging the ball forward. The Dockers trying to win it back. They do through Clark. Looking for a teammate, finds Johnson. Handballs outside defensive 50 to Darcy. The big ruckman just pumps it on the boot. Goes long, going back to the flight. Amos takes a ripping mark just inside forward 50. He's got options, but he might be within range.
This will be one of those scenarios when all the players in your forward half, you don't capitalise, and the opposition manage to get it down into their forward half and make the most of their opportunities.
great mark.
Back with the flight. It was incredible, Mark.
29 goals for the season so far. Jai Amos in his young career will have to kick from outside 50. Comes in. Doesn't hit it all that well at all. It won't make the distance. It's going to fall short, and it's tapped through off hands by Carlton. It'll be a minus score to the Dockers. So Amos's first chance goes amiss this time. And it's Carlton, 2 straight behinds leading Fremantle, just 1 minus score.
McGovern with the kicking duties into the left back pocket to Newman. Goes beyond defensive 50 for the Blues. Nice kick, the top of where we were expecting. Cripps, though, couldn't gather. Spilled out the back. Hughes picks it up and he's tackled. Coming across to get him was Boyd. Ball up will be the call. Left half back for Carlton. They lead by 1. 10 gone opening term. Grandstand AFL. Young wins it down for the Blues. Darcy was able to get there though. Gave it to Aish. Gets a kick on the bounce towards right half forward. Sard read it better than Schultz. Sends the Blues back down the commentary wing, and that's a good mark to Young. Outpoints his opposite ruck in Darcy. Plays on to Doherty. He'll thump it to left half forward.
So Cox stands strong under the ball for Fremantle. Took a very good mark under pressure. It's a good win for Brennan Cox. The Fremantle defence holding up pretty well under pressure early. As Cox goes to the wing, has a man in Aish. Inboard kick to Brayshaw. Handballs to Ethan Hughes. Ran into trouble. Back to Brayshaw. Ends up with Aish again. Low spearing kick looking for a target, and Schultz couldn't get there. Was cut off by the Blues. Doherty found Chera, now Newman. Has a man free on the wing. Owies wants to move it inboard. Low spearing kick was good. Found Cottrell right on the AFL logo. The Blues lead by just 1 solitary behind in a low-scoring affair 11 minutes in to this opening quarter. Neither side yet to make a big push yet, as Mackay just able to juggle a reaching mark. Still forward of centre wing. No clear option, so just bombs it inside forward 50. Jackson flew from the side, couldn't mark. Clark able to clean up. Cross half back, gave it to Ryan. His kick is dangerous. Akers is the first one there. Gathers for Carlton. Snaps it back towards the top of the square. Cripps can't mark. Martin went without it. Pearce back on it, taken in a tackle. Spilt it. Coming in is Kennedy for Carlton. Mackay, his handball, couldn't find a target. Ball goes bobbling towards the boundary line, and Fremantle escape yet again. Boundary throw in 40 metres around again in the same spot that Carlton have had a few chances so far.
Kernow's lucky to be conscious at the moment after wearing Alexis Pearce's knee right on the chin.
Throw it back in. Jackson up against Mackay. Jackson got the fist to it for Fremantle. Sarong happy to see it back over the boundary line for another throwing where we were just seconds ago. Inside 50, 7-2 to Carlton at the moment. Hit outs 10-2 in favour of Fremantle. The Blues still with the clearances. This is a hit out on clean possession taken by Mackay rather. Got it back to Akers. Looked like he dropped the football. Umpire says no, play on. Martin tried to get a hand pass away. Was able to do so to Mackay. Kicked around the body. Back there O'Meara. Mops up for Fremantle. And spots Henry in space at left half back. The ball bounces his way. He's got players ahead of him. He'll take a bounce at left half back. Kicks down the southern wing. Bounce in front of Amos. Had McGovern to deal with. Walters couldn't pick it up cleanly first time. Scooped up though by Erasmus, and then he's pinged. Incorrect disposal. Free kick going the way of Newman. Gives it to Doherty on the southern wing. Still the Blues by a point. 13 gone in the first.
Curnow survived that last hit. Goes long. Drills it inside the 50. Ryan went back with courage. Couldn't mark. Coming through is Hughes. Taken in a strong tackle. He's not going anywhere. It'll be a ball up inside forward 50 again for the Blues. Just dominating forward half possession.
The work of Pearce, Ryan and Cox at the moment is just amazing.
It's a ball back in play. Jackson able to rove it. Kicks outside defensive 50. It was a shocker. Found the chest of Nick Newman, I believe. Is that there? Or the Carlton player is going back. He's going on a short. Doesn't want to take the shot. Has Adam Chera open inside the forward 50. He's got a man on over the top. Finds him. And it's Owies who'll go back and have the chance to kick the first major of the day. 14 minutes gone in this opening quarter.
Well, finally, they're getting a bit of bang for buck with inside 50s to marks. Carlton, they've dominated the first part of this quarter. Just didn't like the method going inside. They're playing into Luke Ryan's hands. He's been able to intercept too many, so they need to make the most of this one, go back and convert.
15 goals for the season. Matthew Owies' kick is an absolute shocker. It's away to the left. Fails to register a score. Out of bounds on the full. The low-scoring affair continues as Fremantle have the ball back in the right back pocket.
Hughes beyond defensive 50. Wiedering, that's a good mark. He was third in the line of three. Read it well and Took to Sherrin, hands it off to Akers. Kicks the Blues up into the air. It'll land in the left forward pocket. They come from everywhere. Curnow got a hand to it, couldn't mark. Kennedy gathers, racing away. There's the first. From 25 out, left full forward. Hit the ball at pace and didn't miss. The Blues 1-2-8. The Dockers one behind. 15 gone in the opening term here at Perth Stadium at the Docklands. 3 minutes into the third, and the Bombers lead by 31. 12-9-81 to the Crows. 8-2-50. Our experts in the West, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
It's just not a sustainable method at the moment. No. That is a great goal built off the back of talent. Remarkable turnover mark from Wiedering in the back, the middle of the ground, but that contest kick from Akers, I think it was, that's not going to be the way to get to goals, other than Matthew Kennedy popping up and kicking a miraculous goal.
Great read, wasn't it? Yeah. Great read from Kennedy.
Perfect crumbing craft right there, and the ability to kick it on the run, pinned up against the wrong side for a right footer. Great finish.
It's been a while since we've had a centre bounce here at Perth, but the Fremantle are able to get first hands on it this time. Comes away the Blues now, though. Cripps did well, got it to Akers. Then to Walsh, handball back to Patrick Cripps, sells the dummy, steps around Hayden Young, inside forward, 50, couldn't find the target, Martin couldn't take it. The Blues, Cottrell again, this time Walsh couldn't get a clean possession, able to get a kick away in the end. Hughes took it for the Dockers, gave it to Ryan, his handball sets O'Meara at task, still in defence, had to go get his own handball. Now under pressure, gives it to Erasmus, hard up against the boundary line. Kick was smothered off hands, and lucky for the Fremantle youngster will be a boundary throw in right on the 50-metre junction at right half forward for the Blues.
Tick for the Ethan Hughes fans then, showed courage backing back, then got the ball and provided the shepherd to allow Fremantle at least a chance to try and exit their defensive 50. Thrown back in. Jackson went out after it, couldn't quite get there. Curnow could. Hand pass intercepted by Switkowski. Now Erasmus kicks towards the southern wing. Blues end up with it again. Comes to Sard. He'll move it short and finds Doherty. Originally involved Chincotta in all of that. Doherty kicks across half forward. That's precise to Kennedy. Perfect waiting. Kennedy sends it in towards Curnow. Might have been touched. He elects to play on after taking the mark. He didn't need to go back and pause. He goes off the right boot and curls it through for a second major. Took a while to get our first, but Carlton have kicked two in about 90 seconds. 2-2-14 the Blues. One behind the Dockers on Grandstand AFL. 17 and a bit gone in the opening term. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner, our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonio.
Well, I love the slow down, assess what's ahead, lower the eyes, and we're able to obviously hit Curnow. Great body work and nice finish. I don't know if it was touched, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure why he played on there.
What I've just noticed, though, Alex Pearce not happy with what's happened on the wing, has run up to Switkowski and also Frederick. Just probably a lack of effort there to create a stoppage for Fremantle to reset, rebound and back in, and a nice finish from Carlton.
It's the ball back in the middle. Carlton, the opening two goals of the game. Fremantle yet to find a major as the bounce is away. We'll get down to Poppy Penny very shortly, with Carlton may have an injury concern down on the bench. We'll see the reset here in the middle. Darcy opposed to Young. Darcy just thumps it forward. Shearer, though, did the same for Carlton. Knocked it back in the other direction. Henry did well to gather. Got the ball across to Erasmus in the middle of the ground. Kicks inside forward 50, but a great mark by Jacob Wiedering, as he does so often. Able to repel, send the ball outside defensive 50, and the Blues now have the ball running on the wing through Sard. So Sard kicked towards half forward. Was too hot for the contest. Young took it for Fremantle. Able to get it to Erasmus. A little bit of fancy footwork, and Hughes retreats all the way back inside defensive 50 and finds Luke Ryan.
Head downstairs in just a moment as Ryan doesn't see much on offer ahead of him. Suggested he could go short to Henry. Instead comes towards the wing, and Darcy. Sard attacks the contest, brings it to ground. Spilled there for Schultz. Johnson onto it for the Dockers. Kicks towards right half forward, goes over the head of Frederick. He's got Kemp with him. Kemp battles. He then goes to ground, bounces away from Frederick. Off the leg But still, it's going to be okay. It will be a boundary line throw-in. Poppy Petty downstairs.
Yeah, you touch on an injury concern for Carlton, and Jack Silvani's just having his leg assessed. From what I can see, he's having his shin guard reattached so he can get back into the ruck. He looks like he is going to try and come back on, but a little bit proppy on that right leg.
Darcy taps it back into the corridor. Schultz gathers, tackled immediately by the opposite 5 in Chera. And a former teammate of his brings him to ground inside Fremantle's forward 50. Ball up. Darcy palms it down again. Oh, back into the corridor to Schultz. Goes off the outside of the right. Last line of defence. Desperate stakes. And doing well. Getting it across the line is Chin Cotter for a rush behind. He needed to be there. It was sailing through. The Dockers 2 behinds. Carlton 2-2-14. We're into time on in the opening term.
Nick Newman just strolls out of the defensive goal square, takes a bounce, kicks it to the wing. Darcy was in front position, couldn't mark. Johnson roved it well, got it to Young. Handball to Henry. Gives it back to Young. Snap on the right boot towards the forward 50. Schultz stood under it, couldn't mark. O'Meara's kick was knocked down. The Blues able to repel again. Kick towards the wing. Cripps couldn't mark. Henry once again, hands on the ball. Gives it to Cox. His kick inside forward 50. O'Meara sitting under it, couldn't mark. Switkowski did well, roved it, overcooked the handball. The Blues turn it back over though. Schultz snap towards goal from the impossible angle. How will the goal umpire see it? He hasn't made a call. Ooh, it must be a mark. Right
The cheer squad thought it was
right
a goal.
on the goal line. The last line of defence, the Fremantle crowd not happy at all, but the Blues live without conceding a goal. Fremantle yet to kick a major, almost 22 minutes gone in this opening quarter.
Quite remarkable that. Love to see a replay. Keep an eye on the big screen as the Blues go right up the corridor and taking a mark. Cunningham just outside 50. He'll flare it into the right forward pocket and Martin marks. Pops one over the top, easy as you like. Matt Owies just strolls in and bangs it into the Farmer Freeway side of the ground. That's where the Blues fans wave their flags in delight. The locals are restless, but the Blues have got 3. Oh, and the replay suggests to me that Kemp did take that mark over the goal line. 3-2-20 Carlton, 2 behinds Freo. Say what you like.
This is where I'm confused with the whole process. Because why does that not get looked at?
Because it's a mark, so the play's already stopped. So you can stop the play and check. It's not like it's general play and you have to stop a live ball.
Now,
I don't know. I reckon
it's worth a look, though.
It is worth a look. On full speed, suspicious. I'd like to see it slowed down, which we're not seeing. But, as they say in the classics, look at the scoreboard. And it's Carlton who lead by 18. 23 gone in the first.
Darcy in the ruck again, wins the ball down. Walsh, though, first hands on it for the Blues. His handball was knocked down by Erasmus. Walsh and Doherty in there again. Doherty wins it back to Kennedy. Gave it to Chin Cotter. Set a task and taken to ground by Walters in a strong tackle. The ball up on the edge of the centre square, favouring Fremantle's scoring end. Ball goes back up into play, falls away of Kennedy for the Blues, just pumps one towards the forward 50, bouncing ball, going back is Cox, has to be good, has Mackay for company, handballed it out in front, Curnow now, he's got Pearce for company, got a handball clear, Walsh shook the first tackle, couldn't shake the second, able to get it away, Ryan runs back into trouble, retreats to his defensive goal square, and Fremantle get out of trouble through a Clark kick to the wing.
Walters up against Sard. The free kick's going Sard's way. Umpires saying Walters illegally moved Sard over the football. Every umpire decision will now be met with a level of scepticism from those in purple. Sard for the Blues. Puts it back inside their attacking 50. Well read by Cox. Standing just to the side of the pack, he was able to take the mark at right full back. 3-2-20 plays, 2 behinds. Blues over the Dockers, 24 gone in the first. The kick beyond defensive, 50 Sards there again. Takes another mark at left half forward. Metre in from the boundary line. Pauses. This will be another inside 50 for them. It's their 16th assist to a pack at full forward. Comes off hands, out the side. Young's happy to track it to the boundary line. Silvani in pursuit. It's over for a boundary throw-in. Still keen to have a look at that replay, I reckon, at quarter time. I'm not saying I'm right or Kara's right or anybody's right.
It is bizarre they didn't check it.
It is. Throwing in again. Mackay won it himself, tried to get a kick or actually dropped it. Kennedy picked it up, kicks it towards goal. It'll sit in front of the behind line to the left-hand behind post, and then is it knocked through? Yes, it is. The doctor's making sure of it. Was tunnel ball. Used to play that at school, Show, did you? Yeah. I think everyone played tunnel ball once upon a time. 3-3-21 to the Blues. 2 behinds to the Dockers. 26 got in the first. I can report it is still played. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, certainly where my son goes to school anyway.
So the ball
Some things never get old.
Correct.
gets over the back from the Fremantle kick in. Walters through the middle of the ground was taken in a strong tackle. The Blues win it back. They go forward again. Silvani has it 55 out from home. Wants a lead from Mackay. That's the direction he heads, and he finds him. Was able to get away from Luke Ryan. Take the mark. He'll go back from 10 metres out. Play on, kick around the body, and he sneaks it home. It wasn't without a nervous moment, but Harry Mackay finds the big sticks, finds his first major of the day, and that'll do his confidence a world of good. The Blues kick their 4th unanswered goal of the opening term. 4-3-27. They lead the Dockers 2 straight behinds. A 25-point margin, 26 and a half minutes gone.
Great tackle from Chera, wasn't it?
Great tackle.
Chase down tackle on lightning fast Walters, but I really liked the patience and, I suppose, connection that Silvani had with Mackay there, because he had Curnow coming at him for a really fast hit-up lead. Just went back a little bit further, took his time, and allowed Mackay to do the work on the body.
For Fremantle, the trend is not your friend. Again, they're going to lose an opening term, and Carlton have won 10 of their second quarters, equal best in the competition with Collingwood. Fogarty got it away, shoveled it forward only as far as Young. His kick was smothered, went up and down in the spot. Kennedy happy to pick it up. Cripps missed his hand pass, allowed Brayshaw to get it for the Dockers to Young, hand pass to Johnson. Chera almost got him. It spilled out the side though. Blues go forward again. Silvani into the right forward pocket. Cox got in front of Curnow. Did well to win it to ground. Curnow followed up. Picked it up. Tackled there by Clark. Just got a hand pass out. Not before the umpire said we'll ball it up though. A little bit of afters too in all of that. What am feeling out here? Huge stakes for both of these clubs. Throwing a lot. 51 out from the Blues goal at right half forward. At the back it was Young that won it down, but straight to Henry. Releases Clark for the Dockers. Kicks down the southern wing. Jackson flew, got a hand to it. Kemp stuck a hand out, couldn't get there. Walters gathers, sweeps it to Amos, so he dropped it. Couldn't quite gather it. Tackled the ground strongly by Wiedering. Umpire says we'll ball it up.
Almost a certain goal there if he had been clean, because McGovern really assertive in his defence. Let Jai Amos out the back.
Lockie Schultz is all on his own too in the goal square. Hands on his headers. Amos fumbled it. Ball back into play. Doherty's handball towards the boundary line is suspect. The umpire agrees. Insufficient intent. Liam Henry, the closest man, will have a shot from the left forward pocket. Extremely tight angle.
It's a hard call when you're being tackled.
So, Fremantle, to avoid a scoreless or goalless opening term, Henry's kick is on the way. It's across the face. Off hands, though. Mitch McGovern getting a fingertip to it. It goes off hands, out of bounds for a throw-in deep in the right forward pocket, but a disappointing result again. Fremantle goalless, just one in an opening quarter this season so far, and that was against the Giants. We know how that finished. So, looking for a major late in the first term. Darcy taps it back into the corridor. O'Meara, his handball looking for a target. Couldn't find one. Sarong dives in. Cripps on top of him. The umpire happy to ball it up again. 40 metres around from Fremantle's attacking goal. 29 minutes played. The Blues lead by 25 points. 4-3 to 2 behinds. Darcy does the ruck work. Pushed his opponent out. Couldn't get a kick. Doherty now slaps the ball on his boot, kicks it to the wing. Mackay taps it down. Jordan Clark does the roving, runs away from Curnow, kicks towards goal. Amos is there in a wrestle, trying to take the mark, couldn't. The Blues happy to see the ball over the line for another minus score. So they avoid their lowest score of the season so far. 0-3 the Dockers, 4-3-27 the Blues. 30 minutes played opening quarter on ABC.
Quickly downstairs, Poppy Penny.
Brendan Cox is looking pretty sore behind play in a contest just at the other end against Curnow. He's trailing him around the ground, but he's looking pretty sore.
Was just involved in that marking contest with Harry Mackay. Took possession of the football with a mark at left half back. Mackay will kick towards the commentary wing. Darcy's underneath it, took 2 grabs, but completes the mark. With a siren telling us that's the end of the opening term. And the Blues with a 24-point lead. 4-3-27 to Fremantle, 3 behinds. The goal kickers for the Blues, Kennedy, Mackay, Curnow in Charlie, and Matt Owies, who missed a shocker and then could not miss from the goal square to get his first of the afternoon. Carlton 4-3-27, Fremantle 3 behind. Earlier today, Geelong by 62 points over North Melbourne. At the moment, 20 minutes gone in the third term at the Docklands. It's the Bombers by 32 points, 13-12-90 to 9-4-58. We'll hear from our experts in just a moment, wherever you're listening. On ABC Radio and Sport Digital, streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL Extra button. This is Grandstand AFL.
Kerr intercepts, dribbles into the area, Kerr strikes, the Aussie captain scores! Sam Kerr puts the ball into the back of the net.
The 2023 Women's Football World Cup starts July 20 on ABC Sport.
Protecting our planet.
Breaking down barriers.
Supporting new migrants and refugees.
Lending a helping hand.
These are some of the ways we became Australians of the Year.
The Australian of the Year awards are nominated by you.
So come on, reflect, respect,
and celebrate
Australians who are making a real difference.
Nominate them now at australianoftheyear.org.au.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Akers kicks the Blues up into the air. It'll land in the left forward pocket. They come from everywhere. Curnow got a hand to it, couldn't mark. Kennedy gathers, racing away. There's the first. Doherty kicks across half forward. That's precise to Kennedy. Perfect waiting. Kennedy sends it in towards Curnow. Might have been touched. He elects to play on after taking the mark. He didn't need to go back and pause. He goes off the right boot and curls it through for a second major.
The Blues turn it back over though. Schultz snap towards goal from the impossible angle. How will the goal umpire see it? The last line of defence, the Fremantle crowd not happy at all.
Blues go right up the corridor and taking a mark, Cunningham just outside 50. He'll flare it into the right forward pocket and Martin Marks pops one over the top. Easy as you like. Matt Owies just strolls in and bangs it into the Farmer Freeway side of the ground. That's where the Blues fans wave their flags in delight. The locals are restless.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
They certainly are. Those in purple unhappy with the decision. They thought Schultz had a goal. Kemp marking right on the goal line. Then the Blues straight up the other end kicked a major. They'd also be unhappy about the scoreboard. They trail by 24 points. What have you made of it? Our experts today, Collingwood Premiership player Sharrod Wellingham, former Fremantle AFLW captain Cara Antonio.
Well, the Blues absolutely dominated that entire quarter, both in field position in the contest and on the scoreboard. They had the ball the majority of that quarter inside their forward half of the ground, dominated clearances, tackles, contested, uncontested, marks, you name it. The thing for me was the clearance work. Cripps is with the 4 clearance. He's the absolute bull in there leading the way. But for Fremantle, their wing in Henry has got 3 clearances. So they're clearly bringing that wing in tighter to add another one into the stoppage to get a little bit of
net at the back of the stoppage.
Some form of ball moving in their way. We spoke about it throughout the call. Carlton dominating inside 50s. However, their method going inside wasn't fantastic. They're working into the Fremantle's defenders. Luke Ryan's just playing off his man, being able to intercept a number of times. Where they have got him was when they've been able to turn the ball over in the middle of the ground. The likes of Sard running off that half-back has been dominating, and they've been able to get him on the counter-attack because with Ryan kicking out, he's had to go to Curnow, who's playing the deepest, or Mackay, and Alex Pearce has been the loose. So they've scored 4 goals from turnovers. So that is the game then and there. They've just been cleaner all across the ground for me.
Yeah, I completely agree in that. I love it when a couple of teams come out and do exactly what we said they were going to do. So, they've come out and dominated the clearance, but just aren't doing enough with what they've won, if you know what I mean.
Yep,
they're coming away, they're great, they've won the clearance, but then they're just wasting it. They're feeding it straight into Fremantle's hands, but then Fremantle aren't doing enough with it when they do regain possession. They're not being brave enough and not being daring enough with that transition ball, because as you said, Carlton are setting up really well and you're just turning it back over. If they're able to maybe utilise the open sides or take it on through the middle, I think it may go a long way to them having a little bit more inside 50 success.
All 4 Carlton goals so far coming from turnovers. What are the other stats? Tell us. Mitch Turner.
The leading possession getters on the ground, Clint for the Dockers, Hayden Young, Luke Ryan, Liam Henry, all with 9 possessions. Jordan Clark, the next best with 8. Brendan Cox with 6, doing a mountain of work down back. The Blues, Sam Walsh getting plenty of the ball, 13 disposals, leads them. Sam Doherty with 11. Nick Newman in game 100 has found the ball 10 times. Blake Akers with 9 against his old side, and the West Australian Patrick Cripps, the captain, 8 disposals for him. The total disposals, Carlton with an advantage 25 in their favour, 118 touches their way. Fremantle at 93. As we look at some of the other stats, 19-8 inside 50s is the one that sticks out the most as we head into the second quarter here at Perth Stadium. The Blues lead by 24 points.
Dockers need to find something in this term. It's almost a Blues specialty the second quarter. Darcy wins it down against Young. Well slapped out the side. Doherty tries to get there, actually apply to Shepherd to allow Cripps to hand pass forward. Bounce to no one in particular. Brayshaw got there first for the Dockers to Sarong. Sweeps the hand pass onto the logo to Henry. Hand passing to the bright sunshine. This is Walters. He'll kick towards right half forward. Jackson marks. 55 from goal. A couple of metres in from the boundary. Don't like his chances from here, neither does he. So he steps back and puts it towards the hot spot. They come from everywhere. Amos Full at the back. Kennedy was at the drop. Got a hand pass back to Newman. Has to tap it back and finds Akers, who kicks almost down the throat of Jackson. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Tracy's there to gather for Fremantle. Goes back by hand to Henry. Back again to Clark at right half forward. On in turn to Young. Young thumps it towards the teeth of goal. In the goal square. Up to mark. Nice and easily done. Oh, he's in the right position, or Newman rather, and he takes the mark defensively for the Blues. He'll move it short into the left back pocket where Carlton can set up again. It's in the hands of Doherty. 4-3-27 the Blues lead. 3 behind the Dockers. 1 minute gone in the second term.
Doherty clears defensive 50, kicks it towards the contest. Umpire blows the whistle. Mackay is being held by the Fremantle captain. Crowd once again not happy. A little bit off put by that lack of score review in the first quarter. The Fremantle faithful, and the lack of majors as well, as Mackay kicks the ball to the wing, looking for Curnow. Can't mark. O'Meara on hands and knees for the Dockers. Gave it to Clark. His handball was wayward. Ryan couldn't gain possession. It comes off hands, goes out of bounds, just forward of centre wing, the far side of the ground. The Blues once again looking to drive the ball forward. Fremantle yet to find a goal this game so far. Goalless first quarter as the Blues win possession again. Martin's handball forward was wayward. Young cut it off for Fremantle. Kicks it out to the wing. Sets Witkowski a task. Akers pushed him off the ball. Did so legally. Gave the handball in ball. Going back towards Kemp was a shocker. The Blues now under pressure on the wing. Tracy able to gather. Gave it to Frederick. Had some space to run. Has a man over the top in the pocket. Walters takes the mark going back. Has been money from the set shot all year, Michael Walters. will go back 30 metres out, left forward pocket. Kick Fremantle's first.
Beautiful kick from Frederick, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Running full tilt down the northern wing on the left, out in front of Walters. And as you said, they've had a lot of success with his set shots this year, hasn't he?
I believe he still hasn't. He's yet to miss Walters, so on the runway now to kick Fremantle's first of the day. Michael Walters, always reliable, turns to the crowd, celebrates. Fremantle get there first. They're on the board. 1-3-9. They trail the Blues 4-3-27. Finally finding a major in this second quarter here at Perth Stadium. Sharad Wellingham, Cara Antonio, our experts today. Fremantle. It was an understatement to say they badly needed that one.
Well, I'm glad he kicked it after you mentioned what he said then.
Jesus.
Yet to miss one this year, and then just watched it sail through beautifully. But yeah, to say they needed that was an understatement.
It was just the overuse of the handball on the wing for me for Carlton. I think it was Akers.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, just handballed behind Kemp and slipped over, and then it was, as we've known to love, the Fremantle way, bouncing off half back and the wing and being able to deliver inside forward 50.
We all should know by now, Michael Walters delivers. He just does. Darcy won it down. The Blues should get the clearance here, and they will, as Cripps thumps it forward. Inside their attacking 50, spoil came from Hughes. Sitting there was Curnow, gathered off a step, kicks around the body, misses to the right-hand side. Didn't even have to take a step, and that ball sailed at least 49 metres.
It's crazy, isn't it? His power that he gets on those snaps.
It's a thumping kick. 4-4-28 the Blues, 1-3-9 the Dockers. 4.5 gone in the second on Grandstand AFL, ABC Radio and Sport Digital.
Ryan with the kick-in duties again for Fremantle, looking for the target in Darcy. Couldn't mark. Ball came out the back. Kemp gave it to Newman, put him under pressure. O'Meara had him. Umpire called play on. The crowd not happy. Now, umpire Ray Chamberlain will ball the ball up in the middle of the ground. The O'Meara tackle on Nick Newman not rewarded as the ball gets back underway in the middle of the ground. O'Meara now takes the tackle, handballs out, gave it to Darcy. Did a little pirouette out of trouble, did well. Got it to Clark, now Hayden Young on that left foot kick, so deadly. Finds Josh Tracy. Still 75 from home, kicks inside the 450, kick wasn't quite there to Amos. Able to tap it towards Switkowski. Couldn't gather clean. The Blues trying to win it back through Kennedy. Knocked down by Yates. Snaps on his left boot. Open goal square, but away to the left. A minus score. So Fremantle starting to push. 1-4-10. 4-4-28 the Blues. We go downstairs to Poppy Penny.
At quarter time, I touched on Brennan Cox having a little bit of a proppy left leg. He had his foot re-strapped at quarter time, and he's had the doctor out to him already during this second term.
Sard with the kicking duties. So the bright orange boots on. He'll thump it towards right half back. Bringing it down was Pearce. Sat there for Brayshaw. Spun out of one tackle. Got a hand pass away to Darcy. Back in the centre square to Sarong. Sweeps the hand pass out to Hughes. Run to the attacking edge of the centre square. Kicks towards Jackson. Juggled it. Dropped it. You get a push in the back. I thought so. What do the umpires say? They finally pay it. Took them some time. It's against Kemp. He was there, Jackson had it. I'd have almost been able to drop it anyway. Kemp would have known that. Did get the shove. He's right in front, Luke Jackson. Needs to go back and convert for Fremantle. Will kick from 25 out.
Looked like a bit of a missed kick from Hughes, to be honest. But, yeah, fantastic to win front position there, Jackson, and got the little shove. Just needs to go back and convert here.
Luke Jackson, 16-14 for the season. He's right in front and steers it through for Fremantle. Back-to-back goals for the Dockers. The only two majors kicked so far in this term. The Farmer Freeway end is the scoring end at Perth Stadium at the moment. 4-4-28 the Blues, 2-4-16 Fremantle. As we go past the 7-minute mark in this, the second term.
We seem to have a little bit more intensity around the contest. Am I right in saying that?
Yep.
It just feels like they're up for it a little bit more, right in tight in that 2 metre bubble where it's so important, and that's probably where Carlton were getting the dominance in that first half, just breaking away and getting a little bit more transition footy happening.
Winning the clearances as well already, Fremantle this quarter, so that's a big one.
So after a run of 4 unanswered goals in the opening term, the Dockers answer back with 2 of their own as Darcy once again wins the tap. The Blues, first hands on the ball. Darcy did well to follow up and take Cripps in a tackle. Erasmus affected the kick. Brayshaw able to take possession, couldn't find Amos. Doherty now for the Blues, couldn't take possession. Henry's handball knocked down, wasn't good enough to get to Schultz. Kemp taken in a tackle for the Blues. There'll be a ball up inside 50, 40 metres out for the Dockers. Just starting to get a little bit of reward from that ruck dominance as Darcy this time taps it down straight to the Blues. Clearing kick into the middle of the ground. Curnow did well to tap it to his advantage. Cox was there to stop him. Frederick diving in, and he's taken in a gang tackle. Have a ball up in the middle of the ground. 8.5 minutes gone. 12-point margin the way of the Blues. So we get back under the way in the middle of the ground as Darcy wins it down to Brayshaw.
Was able to work a hand pass out to Aish. Back to a Docker in Darcy. Gave it straight to Chera. Couldn't believe his luck. Kicks inside, forward 50, up into the air. Comes down off hands for Akers. On to Cunningham, then to Cripps. Running by Walsh. Shoots at goal. Misses to the left. A minor score. 4-5-29 the Blues. 2-4-16 the Dockers. 9 gone in the second term. 3/4 time at the Docklands. Bombers by 38, 14-13-97 to Adelaide 9-5-59.
Hughes with the ball, left back pocket for Fremantle. Kicks to the wing, Pack forms. Frederick at the front, couldn't mark. Taken out of it with a hold by Chin Cotter and will win the free kick though. So a reprieve for the Dockers. Michael Frederick wearing the short sleeves, the sleeveless Guernsey today. Didn't go with the long sleeves. He's done so much this year. Kicks towards the wing and Newman does well. Going back, taking a strong mark. Having a pretty good day in game number 100, Nick Newman. Able to thwart the Dockers' forward efforts on that occasion. As the ball goes up the wing, Darcy went back, couldn't mark, wanted a free kick, wasn't paid. Fremantle win it anyway. Erasmus tucked up in the wing, but the boundary line beat him to the ball and it'll come back towards the interchange gates for a boundary throw-in. Darcy wanted a free kick in that last contest, didn't get it. Now we'll go head-to-head with Jack Silvani again, sorry. Alex, the former Docker end blue. Big fist from the Pack, back towards the boundary line. We'll have another ball in. Same position. Coming up on 11 minutes gone, second quarter. ABC Sport, a 13-point lead to Carlton.
No sub used yet. Carl Warner still to make his debut. George Hewitt, the sub for the Blues, as it's thrown in again. Silvani did well to work Darcy out from under it. Without the back to Chera, bobbles up to Silvani. Breaks the tackle of Schultz, sweeps a hand pass for the Blues towards right half forward. Walsh gathers, hand pass to Cripps, looks to step inside an opponent, can't get past Young, just got a hand pass away to Chera. Chera kicks towards right full forward. Curnow flew, was able to get a hand to it, but it bounces over the boundary line. 30 out for the Blues attacking goal, heading to the city end of Perth Stadium, to the right of our broadcast position in this quarter. 11 gone, the Blues are 4-5. 29, the Dockers 2-4-16.
It's a boundary throw, and this time Tracy and Mackay, the two big forwards to do the ruck work. Goes down Johnson, couldn't take it. Diving in is Martin on hands and knees for the Blues. Couldn't get the ball out, and Johnson ends up being wrapped up for Fremantle. A ball up, 40 metres around, 45-degree angle. Carlton's forward 50. Tracy and Mackay do it again. Fogarty ends up with the ball. Martin had a fumble, had to go back and get it. Handball's looking for Cunningham. It was a suspect one. It's a throw. Fremantle will take the advantage off half back. Brayshaw goes wide for Hughes. Not a lot of offer up the ground. We'll have to stop, drop and wait. Carlton had the numbers up the wing. Hughes forced to wait. Now goes short to Brayshaw. Kicks cut off. Cottrell wins it back for the Blues. Kick inside forward 50. Too hot for Curnow. Cox works him off the ball. Can't gather. Knocks it into the path of Carlton. Martin fumbled. Lucky for Fremantle. It was almost a certain goal. Carlton couldn't get it to work. The ball goes outside defensive 50 and Erasmus sees it out of bounds. The Blues let one go Fremantle got away with one.
Luke Ryan just in the right spot at the right time. Couldn't believe it. Otherwise, it looked like a certain Blues goal. 29 plays 16, 13 gone in the second term. Ball to be spun back in. Jackson doing the ruck work against Silvani. Silvani won it down. It came there to Cunningham for Carlton. Kicked into the right forward pocket. It tumbles away on the bounce from Mackay. And over for another boundary throw-in.
Both teams playing a spare behind the ball as well, so probably need to have a look at both teams' ball method going inside forward 50. Can't just blaze away to the free.
Right forward pocket for the Blues. Mackay against Jackson to do the ruck work. Both have a touch. Came down to Martin. Clever hand pass to Chera. Kicks around the body towards full forward. Coming out to mark, Charlie Curnow. He was starting in the goal square. Was out and then diving forward to complete the mark. He'll go back and have a shot from point blank range and right in front.
Always a tough one, isn't it, when the ball's bobbling around at a contest. Forwards love to play in front and are often first to react.
Looking for his second goal in his 100th game. Charlie Curnow doesn't miss. Dumping it into the second tier to give the Blues their fifth. 5-5-35 Carlton, 2-4-16 the Dockers, 14 gone, second quarter. Grandstand AFL on ABC Radio and Sport Digital. Also, of course, streaming on the ABC Listen app. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner, our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonia.
Up to 11 goals in his last 2 games here.
Very, very talented, isn't he? Well, you just saw there, Alex Pearce was the free, and he was up at the contest. He probably needed to sit at the top of the goal square. Yeah, not a great spot as the free or the loose off the back of the stoppage.
It was in a really kind of difficult distance from goal when it is that 20 metres away, because it is a kick, but it's also...
It is, yeah.
You know, difficult spot. I would have liked to have seen him as that extra goalkeeper.
Yeah,
We've got Curnow, can take a mark, and it is going to be a mark from a kick.
Yeah.
So Charlie Curnow, second for the day as the ball's back underway in the middle of the ground. Kennedy taking in a tackle, couldn't win possession. Fremantle do, though, through Sarong. Kicks it towards half forward. Good. Strong mark in front by Kemp. They would have beat Walters to it, but his kick was turned over. Straight to Johnson. Oh, he played on in the middle of the ground. His kick was smothered. The Blues win it back. Akers has Cherry in support. The two former Dockers streaming towards the 50. The kick out in front of Owies, though, couldn't get there. Had Walker the company tapped out of bounds. What a comical 30 seconds of football that was.
Right decision to come back through the corridor. Good intercept. Not sure what Johnson was doing.
The one might be brought up on the review on Monday as Jackson does the ruck work. Comes the way of Sam Walsh. High up and under inside forward 50. Mackay! Worked Alex Pearce out of it. Stood under the ball. Strong hands, strong mark. We have a chance to kick his second today. And this will be goal number 199 for Harry Mackay if he can convert 30 metres out directly in front.
And we're going to see a straight drop punt as well.
Likes to go around the corner. This one, though, straight in, drop punt. Perfect result for Harry Mackay. The Blues get their sixth for the day. Harry Mackay gets his second. All of a sudden, the margin back out past 4 goals again. 6-5-41 the Blues. 2-4-16 the Dockers. 16 and a half minutes played here. Second quarter, Perth Stadium. Grandstand AFL. Mitch Turner, Clint Wilden, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
Well, another goal from turnover to the Blues, and also Luke Ryan on the bench, so no real aerial support there for the defenders for Fremantle. Someone needed to leave their direct opponent and fly.
It was a pure 2 on 2, wasn't it?
2 on 2. They needed aerial support. Oh, well, they hit another one in front. They've dominated again the last kind of 5 to 6 minutes, the Blues.
And the restart, the umpire will have it back. Skewiff bounce out to the right. And downstairs in just a moment. Rucks go at it. Darcy with the more telling tap. The Sarong was tackled. Just got a hand pass out. Darcy following backwards. Picked it up. He's been tackled by Young. Umpire will ball it up. Throws it back to the umpire standing on the attacking edge of the centre square. for Carlton. Pops it up. Darcy with fingertips. Down towards Aish. Backtracking, spinning, getting a kick away. It'll go up and down. Not quite on the elevator, but underneath it and waiting on the logo to mark is Saar. Quickly puts Carlton back into the right forward pocket. Dockers had the numbers. Pearce Flew couldn't get there. Fogarty looked to knock it forward to Silvani. Hand pass back into the corridor. Ryan met it. Kick was smothered by Martin. Taken though there by Doherty. Spots a teammate inside forward 50. The kick was precise. Walker couldn't get there. And Kennedy takes the mark right in front. He can go back and have a shot from no more than 40 metres out. He'll start in line with the right hand behind post.
Great mark from Sard, wasn't it? And
yeah.
That was the turnover.
It was.
We've seen that a couple of times. Quick kick or just an indirect kick to no one in particular. Carlton players able to turn it over.
Argue that their score sources have been from turnovers as Kennedy comes in and misses. In fact, it barely sneaks in for a minor score out to the right-hand side. 6-6-42 the Blues, 2-4-16 the Dockers. 19 gone in the second term. Poppy Penny's downstairs.
Yeah, Brennan Cox is still in the hands of the doctors and the physios. He's come off again. They're re-strapping that left foot again. They're having another look at it. It looks like they're looking at sort of his ankle area. He doesn't seem to be very comfortable.
The Dockers certainly need Cox back out there. Had a good start to this game as the Blues trying to win the possession back on the wing. Cripps, Akers all diving in. Sarong's kick smothered. Wiedering comes out to meet it, couldn't take it, and Schultz takes Kemp in a strong tackle. There'll be a ball up right in front of the Fremantle bench.
4-1, by the way, Carlton's from turnovers. Could have been 5 just a moment ago if Kennedy had struck truly. 5 goals.
The Blues punishing the Dockers here in this second quarter. Johnson's handball was looking for Brayshaw, couldn't take it. Chera dives in. His opposing number, Lockie Schultz, has him. With a push and shove from the man they call Shooter. Ball up just forward of centre wing. Darcy won the tap. Young tried to take it, coming through, couldn't. Sarong's kick smothered. Diving in now is Kennedy for the Blues, and once again the umpire will ball it up. 20 minutes gone. Second quarter here, ABC Grandstand footy. The Dockers trailing the Blues as Darcy's tap went to Wiedering. He was slammed in a tackle.
He was looked after by Sarong and Chera. Sarong on Chera, I should say.
Certainly didn't drive him all the way into the ground, the former teammate, as O'Meara's kick inside forward 50, looking for Jackson, trying to take the one-hander, couldn't. Wiedering did well. Ball goes out of bounds, off hands for a boundary throw in 35 metres around from the Dockers' goal.
6-6-42 plays 2-4-16. Blues still looking in control. Can the Dockers find a way towards goal? They're in their forward 50. Darcy took clean possession. Didn't quite get a convincing hand pass out. More dropped it than anything else. Switkowski, clever hand pass. Bounced it onto O'Meara. Gave it to Erasmus. Kicks towards Amos. One-handed grab at left ball forward. Gets up and stabs it back. Well, that's unselfish and unbelievable from a forward. What's he thinking? Gave it to Schultz. Standing in front of goal. He'll go back and kick from in line with the left-hand goal post from no more than 20 metres out. That's not what forwards do.
No.
Left footer, he would have been really, really tight.
That's true. I think the forwards union will need to be speaking to Jai Amos about that. Nonetheless, Lockie Schultz, normally accurate in front of goal, comes in
and misses.
That's an unbelievable miss from Lockie Schultz.
Someone so reliable.
2-5-17 the Dockers, 6-6-42 the Blues. That is textbook commentary curse stuff, but that is amazing. 22 gone in the second term. Grandstand AFL at Perth Stadium.
So Brennan Cox back on the ground, was able to take the intercept mark on centre wing. Kicks it back inside forward 50, looking for Amos, caught behind. McGovern did well, couldn't mark. Ball spills down. Johnson coming in for the Dockers. Tries to break the Cripps tackle, but unable to do so. The umpire will take it and reset again. 40 metres out from the Fremantle goal. Darcy taps it towards Erasmus. Just spilled the ball. back in congestion now, going in the Blues through Kemp. He dives in and it's taken and a tackle, ball up again. 23 minutes gone, 25-point margin the way of the Blues. Ball inside the Dockers forward 50. Sarong snaps towards goal. Hooks it too much, a minor score to the left. So 2-5-17, or 2-6-18 the score as it refreshes now. 6-6-42. Carlton, a 24-point margin. 23 minutes gone here at Perth Stadium, ABC Grandstand.
12 minutes to play at the Docklands. The Bombers lead the Crows by 37 points as the Blues move it towards right half back, and then it's socked forward towards the logo. Commentary wing. Clark picks it up for the Dockers. Immediately set upon by a couple of Blues. It's going to be a ball up. One was Fogarty, the other Mackay. So just forward of the logo commentary wing for Carlton. Right contest between Young and Darcy. Darcy tapped it back towards the corridor. Sarong couldn't gather. Kennedy could. Picks it up for the Blues. Hand passing forward. Got it onto Walsh. Running by Cunningham. Sends it towards full forward for Carlton. 2-on-2 battle. Pearce got the fist away for the Dockers. Henry couldn't gather. Fogarty could. Hand pass missed its target. Doherty goes back. Shrugs the tackle of Clark. Kicks up in the air towards right full forward. He's missed. Across to the right-hand side, a minor score, 6-7-43 the Blues, 2-6-18 the Dockers, 24 gone. Grandstand AFL and ABC Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on the ABC Listen app. This is Mitch Turner.
It's the Dockers. Dearly love a few more goals before the halftime siren comes. Ryan's kick to the wing, looking for Darcy, couldn't mark. In there is Newman for the Blues. Kicks it back inside forward 50, but Pearce all alone. Takes an uncontested mark, the easiest contest he'll have all day as he switches play out to Ryan in the right back pocket, has Henry further afield. Still inside defensive 50, the Dockers, as Henry goes inboard to Johnson, who goes further wide looking for Schultz. The kick is a poor one. Goes out of bounds, lucky not to be out of bounds on the full, but it'll create neutral possession again with the ball in forward of centre wing. Really disappointing kick by the Dockers youngster. Ball comes back into play. Darcy won it down. Henry did well. Schultz running the wrong way. Handballs back inside defensive 50. Goes to Ryan. Finds Sarong short. So can the Dockers build something here? Not a lot of movement up the field for Sarong to kick to. Now just force long down the line, looking for Amos. Kennedy did very well, dribbling across the front, took a gripping mark. And the Blues once again win possession back and go towards half forward.
It's a long kick and a good mark defensively for Ryan of Fremantle. A line of four, dragging in the red Sharon. Dockers in their Indigenous jumper today for NAIDOC week. The Blues were in their white away kit towards the logo. Out of side, McGovern pumps it back towards left half forward for the Blues. Curnow up and marking. He'll wheel around. He's about 70 from goal. It is an enormous kick. It's off hands. Mackay was there against Pearce. They both got a touch as it spills through for a rush behind, but carried the distance. If it had been about, I reckon, no more than 10 centimetres high, that kick. What an enormous strike of the footy. Another minor score, 6-8-44 the Blues, 2-6-18 the Dockers, 27 gone in the second.
It's Luke Ryan, once again, trying to set something up for the Dockers out of full-back. Finds Young. Left half back. Still not a lot of options up the field. Forced to go long to the wing again. Darcy and Jackson there. Couldn't mark. Swikowski did well. Got around the first, then was caught. The Blues win it back. Walsh trying to break a tackle from Brayshaw. Couldn't. Dropped the ball, holding the ball. Can that be something to spark the Dockers? Brayshaw gives it to Young. Penetrating kick towards half forward, but once again, the Blues able to chop it off. Wiedering read it best, cut across. Took the intercept mark. Was able to go short to Newman. Newman goes over the top to Young and then in turn to Walsh. His kick towards Mackay. Got away from Pearce. Did well. Gave it to Silvani to kick a little hot. Inside 50 for Martin. Cripps just scooped the ball back towards Martin. Now Mackay taken in a tackle by Pearce. No prior opportunity. The umpire will ball it up just inside forward 50 for Carlton, right half forward. 28 minutes gone.
Second term ticking away. Darcy tapped it down to Brayshaw to Aish. Put his head over the football. Walsh almost got him high. Out the side. Brayshaw clearing kick towards left half back. No mark taken in a pack. Walters onto it. Clever hand pass forward. Oh, that was inventive. Switkowski hit it at pace. Hand passes off to O'Meara. Cottrell tries to close him down. O'Meara gets the kick away but misses to the left. McGovern had it covered pretty much anyway. Sliding through, it's a minor score. 2-7-19 the Dockers, 6-8-44 the Blues. 28 gone in the second quarter.
Some inventive stuff there from Walters, the knock on. It was most creative passage of play we've seen from Fremantle so far today.
Thoughts from Collingwood Premiership player Sharad Wellingham here on Grandstand AFL, Perth Stadium. The Dockers trailing the Blues by 25 points late in this first half as Young's able to chop it off for Fremantle to win possession back on the wing. Dangerous kick inside was good. Found O'Meara. Had a moment he'd probably want back just a short time ago. Able to find Walters in the middle of the ground. Tries to convince the umpire he deserves a 50-metre penalty. None forthcoming. The most 50-metre penalties in the AFL, the Dockers this year, for them, as Hughes takes the mark on the broadcast wing, wheels inside, kicks towards the forward 50 pack. Hands go up, Saar did well for the Blues, got it to Kemp. His kick outside defensive 50 falls in the lap of Jordan Clark. 55-60 from home, probably too far out to score, you'd think. Here's a thumping kick of the ball. Lays it up to the hot spot. Darcy's there, so too Schultz. Couldn't mark. Brayshaw did well, but his handball was cut off. Walsh looking for Mackay deep in defence. Gets it to Silvani. His kick high up and under. Curnow and Cox do battle. Cox punches the ball out of bounds. As the seconds tick down in the first half. The Dockers just 2 goals in this opening half. A disappointing start to this match. It's the ball up just forward of centre wing for Fremantle.
Thrown back into play. Trying to get to it, Silvani. Umpire spotted a push. Going Fremantle's way here against Silvani. Went to Jackson. He trots back with the right. Sends it inside, attacking 50. Trying to get a punch away here. It was Wiedering. Came down in the direction of Sarong. Walsh got him immediately. Ball up will be the call. Time continues to tick by. Half time, moments away. The Dockers have one more 4-8 awards goal. Darcy tapped it back into the corridor. Switkowski handed it off to Aish, tried to kick around the body. Ricocheted off a blue, up towards Walsh. Gave it out to Silvani. Clearing kick beyond defensive 50. Curnow tried to tap it on. Goes as far as Cox. Puts Fremantle back inside forward 50. As the siren sounds for half time. It's been a half of dominance on the scoreboard for Carlton. Some intriguing stats, which I know we'll look at in just a moment. But the hit-outs, 42-7 for Fremantle, but the clearances at 23 apiece. The turnovers have been costly. Carlton been able to capitalise on numerous occasions, and they've been able to play the style of football they like. 46 marks to 35. In favour of the Blues. The stat that matters most, Carlton lead by 25, 6-8-44 to the Dockers 2-7-19. The goal kickers for the Blues, 2 of them have got multiples. Charlie Curnow in game 100, Harry Mackay, for what it's worth, in game 102, and singles to Matt Owies and Matt Kennedy, while for Fremantle their only goal kickers, Michael Walters and Luke Jackson. Beating Carlton leads 6-8-44 to 2-7-19. Let's get the thoughts of our experts on Grandstand AFL here on ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and streaming on the ABC Listen app. Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonio.
It's an interesting battle of chess at the moment. Both teams, look, if you're going to get something, you've got to give something up. And at the moment, Carlton are managing to stay positive around the contest by putting an extra in there and really clogging it up and making it quite dirty, but in doing so are having the extra in their forward line. So Fremantle are manufacturing the extra in their forward line. There's a little bit of shuffling going along on the outside wing, and somebody extra coming into the stoppage, producing the extra in Luke Ryan in their defensive 50. But they're not making the most of their clearances for mine. I think Carlton could probably be a little bit further ahead, and Fremantle are doing a really good job of I mean, what are they down? They're down 4 goals at the moment. And when the feel of the game is that Carlton's dominated the whole time, and Fremantle have just been hanging on. They're like that picture of the cat on the clothesline, you know. They're clinging on. And
just hang in there.
Just hang in there. And I think that if they're able to continue to hang in there, anything can happen. It's obviously a very low-scoring game. The big thing is to get something, you've got to give something up. And so at the moment, it's a game of who's going to hold on to that aspect for the longest, and I think Carlton have to continue to do that because they will get absolutely demolished if they go even numbers inside the stoppage.
Yeah, and I think that the first kind of 5 to 8 to 10 minutes of that quarter, Fremantle came out, they kicked a couple, they had better balance inside to out, they were able to shape the ball out and I suppose get it to spots in their forward 50 to the advantage of their forward. So that worked really well. However, then on the back half of that quarter, we saw how Carlton started the game. They dominated inside ball. They were able to then shape out themselves and lock the ball into their forward half of the ground. They've had 12 tackles inside forward 50, Carlton. 10 of those were in the first quarter. Only the 2 that quarter, but you can tell that is obviously a clear message that they want to pressure at the source, but also lock it in their forward half of the ground. I haven't seen, to be honest, we spoke about it prior to the game, Sean Darcy's dominance. Yes, okay, he's winning hitouts, but he hasn't shown anything around the ground
at all.
Do you agree? Yeah, and I think they're nullifying his impact. They're going 2 or 3 up when they're trying to kick the bailout kick to Darcy Fremantle. So I think Carlton have done their homework. They've been able to execute it, which is the most pleasing part. However, they're 6 goals 8. They probably should be a little bit more in front. But I've been really impressed. Carlton's game and the way that they've moved the ball from turnover, quick, fast, get it into isolated forwards ahead of the ball and have been able to convert has been very impressive.
31 inside 50s to 20 as well. What do they got there? They got 14 scoring shots out of 31, which isn't too bad, but I think that when you look, some of those were pretty easy set shots that they missed.
Yep.
Then I think you want to be keeping a team under 40% scoring efficiency going inside 50.
The other thing that you mentioned, I think, Shaz, throughout the call was, or at quarter time, you wanted to see teams come through the corridor. Both teams are clogging it up, aren't they?
There's so much.
So we're seeing this ping-pong affair of ball comes out of the back half, long down the line, ball goes back in, back out, back in. So I would love to see a bit more dare. And we saw it. There's been a couple of turnovers in the centre of the ground. I don't mind that, though. I want both teams to play a bit more daring. That's exciting footy.
And I think that for either team to be able to do that, one of them has to give up what I was talking about before, whether they give up the one at the extra at the stoppage or they follow up and play an extra forward of the ball for Fremantle. It's a real game of cat and mouse. Who's going to hold on the longest and stick to their structures? Because at the moment, Carlton are going, we'll just stick with this.
Yeah, it's working.
Fremantle are going to have to be the one who changes something, and whether they pull that trigger in the third quarter or wait right until the final quarter, they're going to probably be the team that has to do something.
Repeating earlier today, Geelong by 62 over North Melbourne, and in the closing stages at the Docklands, 27 minutes gone in the final term, it's the Bombers by 30 over the Crows, 17-13, 115 to the Crows, 13-7, 85. Here at Perth Stadium, it's all about the Blues at the moment, 6-8-44 to Fremantle's 2-7-19. Can the Blues continue on? They come into this game off the back of back-to-back wins. Can they make it 3 straight and win the Western Double for the first time in 13 attempts? Huge winners over West Coast earlier this season. At the moment, they have the advantage over the Fremantle Dockers by 25 points. All that is ahead of us right now. Let's pause here in the West and take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Hello, this is David Rowlands with ABC News. The Education Minister, Jason Clare, says bureaucrats involved in the unlawful robo-debt scheme and former ministers, including Scott Morrison, will have to live with the scandal on their conscience for the rest of their lives. The final Royal Commission report into the scheme made 57 recommendations, including the referral of unnamed individuals for criminal and civil prosecution. Mr Clare has told Sky News the report made it clear that the former coalition government and senior public servants kept going with the scheme despite knowing it was wrong.
Taxpayers had to fork out over $1 billion to fix this mess. All of this could have been avoided if they'd asked for legal advice or if they'd started to act in a human way once they realised they were sending bills to people that they didn't know. And all you got from Peter Dutton the other day was all the empathy of a rock.
A Queensland solo adventurer who was saved from his stricken yacht in the Great Australian Bight has thanked the people who saved his life. Xavier Doa activated his emergency beacon on Friday, 24 hours before Indonesian sailors plucked him from rough seas more than 600 kilometres west of Kangaroo Island. The search and rescue effort was coordinated by the Australian Maritime Safety Authority. The 22-year-old was flown by the South Australian Ambulance Service helicopter from the ship to Port Lincoln and then on to Adelaide, where he's being treated for back and neck pain. Mr Doa says he's feeling a lot better and described the people who rescued him as amazing. A housing analyst says long-term rental could be a big part of the solution to Australia's housing crisis. Michael Fotheringham is a part of federal government advisory body, the Urban Policy Forum. He says there needs to be more secure housing for people who can't afford to buy a home.
We need to think about our rental systems a little differently, not as a transitional tenure from when you leave your parents' house until you settle down and get a place of your own, but actually to a long-term tenure and recalibrate our tenancy rules to accommodate that better.
Health authorities are warning the community about the dangers of vaping after several young people in New South Wales suffered acute illnesses when using vape products purchased online. Husnia Shams has the details.
New South Wales Health says 6 young people presented with acute vaping-related illnesses across the state in the last week of June. They experienced symptoms including seizures, collapse and vomiting. The majority of the cases were from the South West Sydney Local Health District. Authorities say some of the products used by the young people were bought on the social media app Snapchat and contained nicotine. Health authorities are urging parents to be aware of vaping among young people and encourage having early conversations to help discourage it.
US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen believes her visit to China has helped stabilise relations between Washington and Beijing. She's had 10 hours of bilateral meetings with senior Chinese officials during her 4-day visit, which ends today. She says although the US and China remain at odds on a number of issues, she's confident her visit has advanced efforts to put the relationship on a surer footing. Moscow has condemned the release of 5 Ukrainian commanders who were captured by Russian forces following the siege of Mariupol last year. The men were handed over to Turkey as part of a prisoner exchange deal and were meant to stay in the country until the war is over. However, following a visit to Turkey by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Azov commanders have been allowed to return home. Mr Zelensky says the men are heroes.
Today, at day 500 of this war, we brought back home to Ukraine 5 of our heroes. Heroes of Ukraine. They were commanders of the defense of Mariupol and Azovstal. They were fighting for Ukraine. They survived Russian captivity. They've spent over 300 days in Turkey. It is time for them to come home.
A businessman in the US state of Texas is suing the state government over a plan to install large floating buoys on the Rio Grande River to stop migrants. Here's the BBC's Bernadette Keogh.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott is mounting a multi-billion-dollar effort to block migrants from Mexico. His latest tactic is to install a line of huge spherical buoys across the river, each more than a metre wide, with webbing below the surface anchored to the riverbed. But local businessman Jesse Fuentes fears the floating barrier will hurt his river tours, and he accuses the governor of exceeding his powers. Migrant advocates have also voiced concerns about drowning risks, and environmentalists have questioned the impact on the river.
This is ABC News.
Hi, I'm Marta Dusseldorp, here to tell you about my new dark comedy, Bay of Fires, about moving to a new town.
We have to get you out right now.
We're going away for a while. A surprise holiday. A tiny place that's not what it seems.
We have a visitor in town.
From the creator of Jack Irish.
Just so it doesn't feel like a holiday.
Award-winning Marta Dusseldorp in Bay of Fires. Starts Sunday, July 16 on ABC TV and ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
The Blues now under pressure on the wing. Tracy able to gather. Gave it to Frederick. Had some space to run. Has a man over the top in the pocket. Walters takes the mark going back. On the runway now to kick Fremantle's first of the day. Michael Walters, always reliable. Turns to the crowd, celebrates. Fremantle get there first, they're on the board. Jackson does the ruck work, comes the way of Sam Walsh, high up and under inside forward 50. Mackay! Strong hands, strong mark. We have a chance to kick his second today. Likes to go around the corner. This one, though, straight in, drop punt. Perfect result for Harry Mackay.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Action here from Perth Stadium. The Dockers off to a slow start. 6-8-44, the Blues leading the way. 2-7-19, Fremantle. A 25-point margin in what is a make-or-break game for both of these sides today. Mitch Turner, Clint Wheeldon with you here on Grandstand AFL. And our two experts, Sharon Wellingham and Cara Antonio, casting their eye across today's contest. And a lot of work for Fremantle to do if they're going to get themselves back in this game, and creating opportunities is probably the first place they need to start, you would say, Sharon and Cara?
Yeah, definitely. As we just spoken about, that they evened up around clearances. It's 23 apiece. They're obviously dominating hitouts, but they're not showing that dominance post-clearance and capitalising inside forward 50. We know we've spoken about it in the past that the younger, more inexperienced forward line, is growing. It's going to be the future of the footy club, but again, got to put it into better spots for the forwards and a bit more mid-forward connection. I'd like to see lock the ball in, get some more forward 50 tackles and get some goals from stoppages, because at the moment it's goals from turnovers from both sides based around skill, execution and decision making coming through the corridor, which Shaz and I have said we want to see more of, but I suppose, it's a risk versus reward. So no doubt it's been addressed at halftime. Get to work inside, get better balance on the outside and make the most of the opportunities going forward.
Yeah, I think the hard thing for both teams today is going to be who makes who flinches first with their structures and with their setups, because Darcy has got such dominance around the first hands. It does influence what the ball movement's going to look like. So, it's who's going to flinch first, Clint? Who's going to be the one who gives it up first and changes their structure? Because as soon as that structure changes around stoppages, you'll see ball movement change and transition from stoppage really change, I think. So, it's going to be an interesting stare down, let's say.
Just some news for you from the MRO. Nick Haynes has been offered a 1-week ban for his tackle on Hawthorn's Josh Ward yesterday. So rough conduct, which I think a lot of us watching the game yesterday don't find as much of a surprise. There's been a couple of financial sanctions. Charlie Ballard for tripping Zach Butters, Sam Powell Peppered for forceful front-on contact with Darcy McPherson. And James Jordan has been fined for umpire contact because, Mitch, we were talking about in the office, that's the randomest thing ever, Number 5 for the week, fines given out for making contact with an umpire. So must have been a bit of a crackdown maybe from the AFL on making contact with the umpire, but that's number 5. So I don't think I've seen one
at least since earlier this season. It's been a long, long time. So the AFL certainly one to watch out. I have seen the umpire go down a couple of times today.
And definitely did.
I have to go back and watch the incidents for the other fines this week, but there were a few times in the matches we were watching, Clint, where umpires backed back into players in the centre circle. The players didn't clear the area. So it'd be interesting to see today if anything comes out of that.
You do get these random runs of things, which we've seen.
It's always when the AFL or whoever the governing body says we need to focus on this, and all of a sudden,
bang.
Well, as we saw again, these things do happen Thursday and Friday nights. Every club, keep an eye on what goes on Thursday and Friday night, because you know what will happen for the rest of the week. Both teams back out on the ground. The Blues warming up beneath our broadcast position on the northern wing. A few more clouds above us, but still no concerns just at this point in time. Lights are starting to take effect, those on the top ring here of the roof at Perth Stadium. The score again, 6-8-44 to Carlton, 2-7-19 for the Dockers. What do the other numbers tell us? Mitch Turner.
As we go through the stats, Clint, the leading to possession getters for both sides. For Fremantle, Luke Ryan leads all comers with 19 disposals. Hayden Young and Andrew Brayshaw with 16 apiece. Liam Henry and Jordan Clark with 14 apiece. Liam Henry coming off back-to-back career best games. Continues to find the footy. For Carlton on the other side, Sam Walsh, 22 disposals, leading all comers on the ground. Sam Doherty, 16. Nick Newman, 15 in game at number 100. Blake Akers, 14. And so too Matthew Kennedy. Some of the team disposals there, 203 for Carlton, 186 for Fremantle. Closed the gap ever so slightly there in that second quarter. Disposal efficiency pretty even across the board, 71% for Carlton, 70% for Fremantle. Some of those other important numbers, the hit-out battle, 41-8 in favour of Fremantle. Sean Darcy with 35 of his own. The clearance count has evened up though, 23 apiece, after it was pretty lopsided the way of the Blues in that first quarter. So Fremantle starting to get a little bit of evency in the contest today. The inside 50 count still though 31-20 in favour of the Blues. That is also the 7th straight quarter Fremantle have lost since they last won the third quarter against Essendon a few weeks ago. So they've now lost 7 straight quarters. Their record is not good. If they can't win 2 quarters, they're in trouble. So this is a massive quarter for them. And the stat that always gets me is Fremantle have never come back from more than 3 goals down at three-quarter time in the history of the club. They've never overcome a 3-goal deficit. So
they need to get a hurry on now.
They need to kick a couple goals and get inside that margin, because it becomes a very, very tough work.
As players, they would not be aware of that, though, surely. That's not something that you could be aware of. But
it's funny because history shows that if they're down by 3 goals, the nail's in the coffins. They need to get going.
Also worth noting, Carlton now winning just by a point that second term, but they've now won 11 second quarters this season, which brings them equal with Collingwood and the Sydney Swans for the most successful second quarter teams in the competition. The quarter coming up right now, as we welcome our listeners who join us from the rest of the nation to Perth Stadium. Second half about to start. You join us with the Blues leading by 25 points, 6-8-44 to Fremantle, 2-7-19. Carlton led by 24 points at quarter time. They extended that to lead by 25 at half time. Fremantle have dominated the ruck contest. This is the fascinating stat. 41 hit-outs to 8, but the clearances 23 apiece, and turnovers have proved costly for the Dockers. The Blues have bounced on them time and time again. Clint Wilden with you, our experts Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonio. And here's Mitch Turner to get us started in the third term.
Two sides very much playing for their season here today. Is O'Meara's kick out of the middle was smothered. The Blues win it back through hands. Oh, Newman ran into trouble. Was taken in a strong tackle. No call from the umpire. The Blues go towards half forward. Jordan Clark does very well getting back, taking the intercept mark. So Clark looking for a target, has Schultz floating in front of a pack on the wing, couldn't mark. O'Meara did well, fed it back to Walker, goes wider in turn to Henry, has a man over the top in Tracy, chooses not to use it, goes deeper, Frederick couldn't take the mark, ball spills to ground, the Blues able to clean up. A high fly from Frederick, couldn't take it, and Cripps takes the mark on the wing for the Blues. will be able to send them further up the wing to Silvani. What a fly from Michael Frederick.
That's a beauty. Here's Silvani. Just pauses as Blues stream forward. He'll kick towards left half forward. One-on-one battle here. Curnow up against Cox. Comes off hand, spills down to Fogarty. The Blues kicks inside, attacking 50. Martin can't take it cleanly. Young got in front. Gives it off to O'Meara for the Dockers. Dangerous hand pass meant for Switkowski. Silvani knocked it to ground. Following up, Switkowski had his arm held, spun in the tackle, lost possession, ping for incorrect disposal. Good work from Silvani. Switkowski normally so evasive. Silvani with the free kick into the left forward pocket. Not a great kick. Henry should have taken the mark. Fogarty picks it up. Henry tackles the Blue to ground. It'll be a ball up deep inside the left forward pocket for the Blues. Carlton heading to the left of our broadcast position in this, the third term. The Farmer Freeway end of Perth Stadium. Their lead is 25 points.
Mackay wins the tap down towards Martin, taken in a strong tackle by Young, and the umpire will ball it up inside the forward 50. 2 minutes gone, third quarter. ABC grandstand. Ball back into play. Mackay took possession, snapped towards goal, went across the face. Ryan with a clever little tap to Cox. His kick along the boundary line, dribbling outside defensive 50. Cottrell takes it. Handballs back to McGovern. His kick inside 50 finds Curnow. The big key forward will go back and will back himself from here. He'll have to kick from 55. Just worse than a 45-degree angle to the right.
Well, we've seen today already, distance won't be an issue.
Great pressure from Silvani and Mackay, the two big fellas. Just really good on the reset from Curnow, stay active and lower the eyes, and got hit up.
It's been a fairly reliable kick at goal this season. Charlie Curnow this time away to the left. Unable to capitalise, a minus score off hands. Opening score for the quarter though, 6-9-45 the Blues, 2-7-19, a 26-point margin, 3 minutes played in the third quarter at Perth Stadium.
Of course, kicked 9 the last time he was here against the West Coast Eagles as Ryan goes on a trundle. Then kicks long towards right half back, leaping up. Young got over the top of Darcy, won it down to Doherty for the Blues, on in turn to Cripps. Hand pass into Fogarty, left forward pocket, kicks towards full forward, coming up from the side, Walker. Decent battle on there between Curnow and the Dockers defence. Walker made sure the ball was over for a boundary throw-in about a metre to the left of the left hand behind post. Blues continuing to press. Early stages, third term. Thrown back in. Mackay took clean possession, tried to get a hand pass to Martin, couldn't take it, had to turn, and then seen by Clark back over the boundary line for another throw-in. Still the Blues 6-9-45, the Dockers 2-7-19, nearly 4 gone. Third term, Grandstand AFL from Perth Stadium.
Plenty of push and shove around the contest as the ball comes back into play. Mackay did pretty well against Darcy, got it down to Martin. His handball to Chera. The former Dockers snap towards goal. Not quite good enough. Cox punching away from Curnow. Silvani tracking it back. Cottrell able to gather. Tight against the boundary line. Clever handball over the top to Cunningham. He squares the ball. Looking for a target. Going back is Darcy. Couldn't mark. Umpire pays a push. Goes the way of the Dockers. It'll go to Sean Darcy. The Blues fans vocal in their voice. Not happy, but it's a free kick. The ball goes out to the wing. Schultz unable to take the mark on the second grab out of bounds.
They're packed in, the Blues fans, at the Farmer Freeway end. Big supporter base in the west. Good crowd in today too. The Dockers asking for members if they weren't going to turn up to resell their ticket. They were expecting such a crowd. Young won it down from the restart. Scooped on though by Clark. Oh, shocking kick under pressure. He's put it out of bounds on the full. Cripps was the player who was right with him. Free kick here for the Blues. Closest player rather, was Kennedy. So he takes the free kick, kicks towards goal. Sitting there, Fogarty. Can he get a kick away? He can. Had to be strong under pressure. Was able to manufacture a ball drop onto the right boot and could send it through for a major. And the Blues get the first of the second half. It comes off the boot of Lockie Fogarty. Just his third of the season. Just his third game of the season. 7-9-51 Carlton, 2-7-19 the Dockers. 6 gone in the third term.
Well, I thought it was going to be another case of in it goes and out it comes. but the kick just carried a little bit further.
It did, didn't it?
Went over the contest.
Yep.
We had Pearce sitting in front of Curnow, I think it was, and just carried over the back, and Fogarty running at full tilt.
Gee, it's a clever goal because he sort of had to juggle it with the left hand,
not
hold off
completely take
Johnson with the
possession.
right, and as the ball dropped, sort of leapt in the air and stuck the right boot at it. Inventive.
They're very inventive.
Clever goal from Lockie Fogarty. Ball back in the middle. Aish got it to Brayshaw. He was under pressure. Taken to ground in a tackle. Umpire says he had prior. And his mate Adam Cher is the man who did the tackling. He wins the free kick in the middle of the ground. Chera plays on. Kicks a low spearing ball inside forward 50. Mackay couldn't mark. Sarong there to clear for the Dockers. Amos takes a good chest mark on the wing. Wanted to play on quickly. Gave it to Brayshaw. Then Walters. Walters kick inside forward 50. Looking to Schultz. Boyd did well. Knocked it away. Schultz unable to gather. Out of bounds. Off hands. Ball in. Just around from the Fremantle goal. Pretty fast end-to-end footy that time, though.
Great one-on-one contest there from Boyd.
The Dockers with a chance to maybe hit the scoreboard with a major for the first time this quarter. We'll get down to Poppy very shortly on the boundary, but we're back underway at the moment. Fogarty outside defensive 50 with the clearing kick. Martin's tracking it back for Carlton. Oh, met solidly by Pearce. Came off the best though, Martin. Fed the handball to Curnow. He knocks it forward to Cottrell. Gathers inside forward 50. Goes back to Cripps. Back to Cottrell. Clever little kick inside. Finds Owies. And Carlton just able to make something out of nothing every time. And Owies will go back and have to kick from outside 50. A tough angle.
It was a smart kick because there was nothing deeper. So Owies had to come up at the foot. If it had been a blast away.
Handballs off to a running McGovern. Hasn't kicked a goal this season. Kick from outside 50 is a bomb. Mitch McGovern. His first goal of the season's a big one for the Blues. He lets loose from outside 50. Kicks an absolute dagger. 4 straight for the Carlton Blues. It's getting out of hand for Fremantle now. Something's got to change. 8-9-57. The Dockers 2-7-19. A 38-point margin. 9 minutes gone in the third quarter.
As I was saying, if they had blasted away before, they had Fremantle defenders that all flooded back. So it was a really smart kick. And again, half-back run. That's a coach killer from a forwards point of view. You want your forwards to chase from behind. Great finish from McGovern. How good was the hit from Martin in the centre?
That was what was amazing for me. That
really good.
That one-on-one contest
against Alex Pearce.
Small Martin against Big Pearce. Huge contest win.
Neither shirked it. The Blues won it though from the restart. It's Young that got it down. Dockers are able to hack it forward inside their attacking 50. Sard racing back. Gathers for the Blues between fullback and centre half back. Kicks towards the commentary wing. Ball's allowed to bounce. Cripps will get there first. Hit it at pace. Lost his footing. Held by Brayshaw. Got a hand pass away though to Martin. Hard up against the boundary. Kicks towards left half forward for the Blues. Beautiful gather. Curnow centres it towards centre half forward. Fogarty hands it off to Chera. Chera from 55 out. Unloads. It's all Carlton in the West. Up against his old side, Adam Chera kicks a telling blow. 9-9-63 the Blues. Their lead is now 44 points. The Dockers stuck where they were at half-time, 2-7-19. We've travelled 10 minutes into the third on Grandstand AFL. If you'd like to send us a text, as always, love to hear from you. 0437 774 774. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. Our experts, Sharad Wellingham and Cara Antonio.
Well, it's a couple of transition plays that we've seen now. Started off from Sard, getting a nice release kick and a good contest win. Chera kicking a very crucial goal against the old side. That'll hurt Fremantle.
A run of 5 unanswered goals for the Blues. Fremantle just unable to hit the scoreboard as Adam Chera delivers a big blow. Ball back in the middle. Darcy opposed to Silvani. Won the ball down to O'Meara, unable to break the tackle. Ball up again, middle of the ground. 11 minutes played. Darcy works his man out of it, handballed it to O'Meara. Kick inside 50 was good, but Chincotta going back with courage under the high ball was able to take the intercept mark and go wide to Wiedering. So Jacob Wiedering, left half-back, happy just to retreat again to Newman. Goes even further back and across to Boyd, who now moves the ball forward to one of the goal kickers today, Mitch McGovern. The Blues just patient with their ball movement. McGovern to Silvani.
So much density through the middle of the ground and the transition.
Kick towards half forward for the Blues. Ryan did well to stick a boot in. Cleverly knocked it away. Aish came through, fended off Chera, handball to Johnson. Tucked up against the boundary on the wing. Kicks towards half forward. Kick is too strong. Never gave Schultz a chance. He throws his arms out as Carlton intercept the ball and Newman has it at half-back.
Goes short to Walsh. Still at right half-back. Stabs it to Cottrell. Clever hand pass. Releases Chincotta. It opens up in front of him. Thumping kick inside forward 50. Ryan. Great effort. Owies was waiting. Ryan had to get there, turn and take the mark in front of the Blue. And then he's able to send it out to Walker for the Dockers, who turns it over down the throat of Doherty. That should almost be 50. It is. Johnson knocked it out of his hand. Absolutely 50. And Doherty will come in. He'll definitely be in range now. It'll be from the right forward pocket. And he'll be putting boot to ball from about 25 metres out.
Just inexperience there, unfortunately, from the young kid.
And that wasn't really like Doherty tried to milk it.
No.
He just reached in there for no reason.
Not sure what Johnson was trying to achieve then. What it might achieve is the Blues 10. Sam Doherty on his way in. They have kicked 6 unanswered goals now, the Blues. $10-9-69 Carlton. The Dockers 2-7-19. It's a Blue avalanche at Perth Stadium. 13 minutes gone in the third term. It's all about Carlton. Their lead is a clean half-century.
Another goal from turnover. So 3 goals won this quarter already from turnover. Dominating clearance, dominating contested possession and tackles as well. It's, again, clearly a theme for today for the Blues, and they've been able to start this third quarter how they started the game.
So the Blues well and truly on top. A 50-point margin. Fremantle fans in despair as the ball gets back underway in the middle. Jackson's tap to Aish was good. His kick inside forward 50. Looking for Amos or Tracy, couldn't. Boyd taken in a tackle by Walters. The Blues clear it. Brayshaw going back with courage, takes a good mark. We're able to set the play back up again from the edge of the centre square. Goes short and wide to Luke Ryan for disposal number 23. Just takes something off the kick. Kicks it inside forward for the Amos at the back. Just couldn't take the mark. Switkowski, handball to Brayshaw. Needed to do something special. He has done it before, but not on this occasion. Out of bounds on the full. The Blues with possession back in the back pocket. 14 and a half gone in this third quarter on ABC Grandstand AFL.
Akers beyond defensive 50. Marked here by the Dockers. And Jackson can send it back inside forward 50. Young was nicely played and got it to Amos, who marks as he leads out from goal. Quickly downstairs, Poppy Penny.
It does look like Carl Warner's about to come on for his first run of AFL footy. They just look like they're just putting the GPS in the back of his jersey. Still got the warm-up top on now, but he's running laps around the boundary line.
Jai Amos pretty much right in front. Starts in line with the right-hand goalposts. The Dockers desperate to end a run of 6 unanswered goals from the Blues. Amos gets underneath it. Kicks up into the air. Won't quite have the carry. McGovern punches it through. It hasn't been Jai's day today. Minor score, 2-8-20 Fremantle, 10-9-69 the Blues, 16 gone in the third on Grandstand AFL, ABC Radio, Sport Digital. And now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the AFL button.
Blues bring the ball back into play. Wiedering with the ball deep in the back pocket. Kicks it to the wing. Curnow coming up, spoiled. Couldn't mark. Cripps, Aish, both of them dive in. Gridlocked on the wing and by Ray Chamberlain will ball it up. 49-point margin here in the West. Jackson gets in front of Silvani. The tap, though, came the way of Cripps, then Doherty. Silvani got a clever tap in the contest. Young, hands and knees for Fremantle. Trying to get a handball out. Did. The umpire says no. Says he got it away illegally and it'll come back the way of the Blues. And Cunningham takes a risky but a good kick into the middle of the ground. Finds Kennedy. Able to kick now towards half-forward. Going back was Akers. Good fist from Hughes. Johnson trying to gather for Fremantle. Overran the ball. Dives back in now. Umpire's blowing a whistle. Seen it was kicking in danger. A high contact it was. So Johnson eventually wins possession through a free kick. Fremantle running out of time in this contest. So they're going to make a move. Johnson kicks towards half-forward. Going back with strength was Wiedering taking a good intercept mark just backward of the wing. Once he fixes his shoe, Clint, he'll be able to restart play.
Plays on, my hand. Boyd kicks towards the right half forward. Flying Mackay, couldn't mark it. Went down there to Ryan. Tackled strongly and taken to ground by Akers. Umpire says play on. Ball still in dispute. Picking it up, or attempting to rather, was Erasmus. He's tackled there by Kennedy. Eventually the umpire will decide to bounce it. Right half forward, up against the boundary line for the Blues. Almost directly opposite our broadcast position. Here on the northern wing, it's thrown up into the air. Blues look to take it away through Kennedy. He's tackled. Erasmus got him, ball up again.
He's done a knee here, Kennedy.
Oh, he's in strife, Kennedy.
Gripping that right knee.
Going to try and help him up, and he's in immediate trouble.
Twisting of the...
Mid-tackle, was it?
So we have a look as he gathers Kennedy. Tackled by two. Erasmus, and then it's sort of had his leg trapped under the body of Erasmus as he fell forward. He's in real strife. Face, just a picture of agony as he turns and then grabs the right knee, and now he's going to be helped off the ground. Poppy Penny's downstairs.
Yeah, as you guys say, George Hewitt is already warming up. He's running laps along the edge of the boundary line. He is looking like he's getting ready to come straight onto the ground.
Michael Voss downstairs. Having a chat to the rest of the Carlton bench. Kicked a terrific goal earlier on in this game, Matthew Kennedy, the former Giant. 92nd game today for the 26-year-old. He's still in the hands of the trainer as he makes his way off the ground. Carl Warner is about to be introduced, as Poppy said a short time ago as well, the sub. The Blues going to have to activate a sub too, you would suspect here. Fleece just contorted in pain. We're restarting on the outer side. Throwing up, tap one down by the Dockers. Henry got it, he's tackled. Ball up again. Akers, the player defending for the Blues. From the restart, Jackson taps it down, straight down the throat of Akers. He'll kick into the right forward pocket. Martin went to ground, pushing the back against Ryan. Ryan can't believe it. Blues fans won't mind. Martin can go back and have a shot. They're taking Matt Kennedy straight to the rooms. Still in the hands of the trainers and the physio.
Probably take your pick there. There was probably a handful of jumper ended in the back there from Ryan, but
the applause is for Carl Warner, who makes his debut for the Dockers. He's on the sub. Meantime, Martin has a shot at goal. It's across the face. Minor score 10-10-70 Carlton to 8-20 the Dockers. 50 points the difference again as we tick into time on in the third term on Grandstand AFL. Congratulations to Carl Warner.
So we'll get down to Poppy in a moment and find out who is the player that's been subbed off for the debutant as the Dockers come to the broadcast wing. Clark had Warner running past, chose not to use him. Plays on now, runs around Cottrell. Kicks it inside forward 50. Frederick was pushed out of it. Couldn't take the mark. The Blues clean up. Boyd to Silvani. Clears the ball outside defensive 50. Mackay flies. Ball goes out the back. Sarong sees a target. He likes inside forward 50. Darcy couldn't mark. Martin spoiled the ball. The Blues win it back. Cunningham gives it to Akers. Puts it out in front of Owies on the wing. Nothing forward of the field. Has to backtrack. Stop. Prop. And finds a man inside with Cunningham.
Martin again, big impact to spoil that ball on Darcy.
Yeah, recognised the option very early and got there.
And as he say, on cue again, Jack Martin takes a good mark. The left edge of the centre square. Has had some good moments today, the West Aussie. Drafted to the Gold Coast end of 2012 as he goes inside forward 50. Finds a target. Sam Walsh takes the mark. 40 metres out. Will kick from about 45 on a tight angle to the left.
That's smart. He took Brayshaw all the way to the goal square. I don't know if you saw that, Shaz. Used, I think, Mackay it was on the line to just get a little bit of separation and led back up at the foot into space.
It's not easy to get away from Andrew Brayshaw, but Sam Walsh did it on this occasion. Kick is on the way. It's away to the right. Won't make the distance. Pack forms. No one can take the mark. Diving into the player's boots, getting thrown at it, but luckily for Fremantle, it was a purple Dockers boot that got in there in the end. So 10-11-71 the Blues, 2-8-20 the Dockers, a 51-point margin as we head downstairs to Poppy Penny. Who's the player that's come off for the Dockers?
It is Matt Johnson. He's been subbed out of the game for Carl Warner for his first game in AFL footy.
Sada's taken an intercept mark at left half forward for the Blues. He moves it short to Chera. It's a terrific goal a short time ago against his former side. He's in the centre square. Kicks back inside forward 50. Ryan stretches, spilled down to Clark. Crunching tackle. Getting across to take him to ground, Silvani. Big hit. They're both okay. Ball up again, the call. Shot of Johnson sitting downstairs on the big screen. Both rucks had a tap. Off the fingertips. Down though to Henry. The Dockers go to Clark. His kick was smothered. Mark, who's been in everything for the past 5 or 6 minutes. Ball ricochets away over the boundary line for a throw-in once more deep into attack for the Blues. They've sent Silvani to full forward here. This ball's put back into play again. Darcy couldn't get there. Mackay takes clean possession after the ball bounced back to him. Darcy tackles him. Ball up again. Ray Chamberlain throws it aloft. More telling tap came from Mackay. Spilled out though to Fogarty. Couldn't take it. Darcy tried to shovel it out towards Pearce. He missed it. Darcy looked to work it forward again to Chera. Hurry kick forward. Met by Mackay. Took it out of midair and misses with the kick. He threw it on the boot immediately, but missed left. 10-12-72 to 2-8-20. Blues in front. 23 gone in the third.
Would have been goal number 200 for Harry Mackay as well, and he just sprayed it to the left. So Ryan brings the ball back in to play for the Dockers. Goes a bit straighter than the norm. Kicks it towards Darcy. Couldn't mark. Warner has his first chance in AFL. Couldn't get the handball away the first time. Eventually got it away, but it goes the way of the Blues. Cripps gives it to Cottrell. Left foot kick inside forward 50. Goes over the back. Silvani pushes Young off it. Handballs to Owies. And the Blues get another. It's just raining goals for Carlton here. Matthew Owies gets his second. The margin continues to blow out here in the West. 58 points the margin now. 11-12-78 Carlton. 2-8-20 the Dockers. Cara Antonio, Sharad Wellingham, our experts here on Grandstand AFL.
Another one of those just over the back ones where players running onto the contest. Similarly, we saw from, I think it was Fogarty earlier in the game, and a nice finish from Owies once again. Snuck it through, quick hand to foot in between two Fremantle defenders.
It was a smart kick too. It was flat. It wasn't a high one to help the defenders for Fremantle. It was nice and flat and just a great read. I think it was Cottrell that kicked the ball in. Really nice spot as well.
Earlier today, the Bombers by 18 over the Crows and Geelong by 62 against North. The restart, Darcy won it down. Comes back to him. Tackled. Well done, Cripps. The hand pass out. Darcy to Aish. Umpire has to duck the footies. It comes to Warner for his first touch. Kicks towards right half forward. Schultz can't keep it in. Bounces across at right half forward for Fremantle for a throw-in. 58 points to the Blues. On their way to keeping their season alive in 2023. Throw-in, Young wins it down for Carlton. Out after it, Chera can't get there before it's back over the boundary line for another throw-in. Left half back for Carlton. Eerily quiet, apart from a very noisy group of Blues fans, understandably in raptures to the left of our broadcast position. One down by Darcy, straight back into traffic. It's been held in. Cripps got it, was immediately set upon by Sarong one way, Erasmus the other. Ball up again. Right half forward for Fremantle. Darcy tapped it down, bounced off the head of Young. Spilled out the side. Akers was tackled by Warner. Ball still there in dispute, been locked in again. Sarong doing the defending. It's going to be a ball up. Fogarty couldn't get it clear. So still just shy of right half forward this time for Fremantle. Ball to be put aloft. They lead the Blues by 58.
Darcy with another hit out. Got it to Erasmus. Had to swing on the left. Kick towards Walters. Worked out of it by Assad. Able to take the mark and kick a low spearing ball towards the wing. Sarong did well to get in front of Cripps. Knocked it away. Cunningham taken in a tackle by Erasmus. Chera sees the ball out of bounds. Just to the right-hand side of the interchange gates. Carl Warner just lurking around the pack on debuts. Had the 2 touches so far, so he's got his hands on it a little bit as the ball comes back into play. Darcy just tries to thump it forward. Cripps and Brayshaw in a wrestle. Cripps did well to win. Got it to... got taken to ground by Warner, the young man. A bit overzealous. Took him to ground late. It's a free kick. Carlton take the advantage. Chera streaming towards half forward, kicks it inside 50, and Mackay takes a strong mark. We'll go back and line up for goal number 200.
Just lost his opponent in Pearce there. I'm not sure if he slipped over, but it was great. A great read of the ball in flight. Bit of bodywork there as we can see the replay, and
the Coleman medalist comes in. Kick is good. Goal number 200 for Harry Mackay. He's had his troubles in front of the big six, but he's got 3 today. And that's 200 for his career. Well done, Harry Mackay. That's 8 straight, 8 in a row unanswered goals for the Blues. The margin continues to get worse for Fremantle. 64 points now. 12-12-84, 2-8-20. Here at Perth Stadium for Grandstand AFL in the West.
It was some good body work by Mackay, but those kind of inside 50s we haven't seen be too successful. It's probably the first one where it's been kicked into a pack and some individual brilliance. It was nice that his 200th career goal came through with the traditional drop punt. Probably a little bit far out for the J curve that he does like to kick.
Snap might have missed.
But no, 8 unanswered goals. Pretty disappointing.
It's a ball back underway in the middle, and Darcy wins the tap.
So here they go again. Darcy looking to backtrack. Sarong might have thought he got a push in the back against Hewitt. Umpires thought no. Ball it up with the ball hitting the deck and looking to take it away. Silvani. Last man up is Erasmus. Throwing aloft again. Darcy palmed it down, only as far as Young. His kick is up and down the elevator shaft. They're all waiting underneath it. Doherty flew, couldn't take clean possession. Erasmus tried to pick it up, surrounded by Blues. 3 of them made sure he'd go nowhere. Ball up on the attacking edge of the centre square for Carlton. Put aloft again. Darcy palmed it down. Straight towards Erasmus. Ripped away from him by Cripps. Got it back to Chera. Kicks Carlton inside forward 50. Ball's allowed to bounce. Back there is Hughes, who's put it out of bounds on the full. Free kick for Carlton at left half forward. Their lead is just a casual 64 points over Fremantle. Half an hour gone in the third.
64 points, as Clint Wheeldon says.
Free kick, though, against Silvani out of all this after shoving Hughes. Maybe a little bit lucky.
Clark ends up with possession and kicks towards Tracy, who's held in the contest. So Josh Tracy wins the ball on the logo on the wing. Kicks a long one inside the forward 50. Flying from the side was Jackson. Amos had a couple cracks at it. Couldn't mark it. Diving in as Boyd for the Blues. He's going nowhere. Ball up inside Fremantle's forward 50.
A lot of text coming through. We'll get to them at three-quarter time.
The Fremantle hotline will be in full action after the game as the ball goes the way of the Blues. Chera at half-back. Left foot kick, up and under. Kicks it towards Warner going back against Silvani. Boundary line wins out as Brayshaw cuts across. So 8 unanswered goals for the Blues. Just 2 goals for the match for the Dockers. 2-8-20. They trail the Blues 12-12-84 as edge closer and closer to three-quarter time. Jackson gets to the front of the contest, taps it down to Sarong. Had Cripps for company, won't let him go, tries to get to his feet, but the Carlton captain and Brownlow medalist was not letting go.
Freo's last goal at the 7-minute mark of the second term. Thrown up again. Silvani won it down. Got a kick away up into the air, though. Young couldn't take it. Hewitt put his head over the top of the football. Looked to slap it forward for them. Instead, Brayshaw was able to gather for the Dockers to Sarong. Now to Young on centre wing. Not sure where that kick's meant to go. Into the middle of the ground. It bounced to Doherty. Handed it off to Kemp. Back to Doherty as they evade the Dockers. The kick forward up the corridor. Hitting it hard, though. Clark marks and plays on. Oh, Walter slipped over. Allowed a simple mark for Boyd out of that. He'll switch play coming out towards Chera, who marks at left half back.
So the former Docker has possession as we tick further into this third term. Newman playing game number 100, coming up to disposal number 19. A pretty solid day for the rangy left footer as he kicks up the wing. Young couldn't mark for the Blues, and the debutant Carl Warner happy to see it out of bounds. The Dockers on track for a pretty average score here, 2-8-20. On track for potentially their lowest score of the season if they don't turn it around in what was a very important game here as Young able to break a tackle for the Dockers. Kicks it long inside forward 50, flying from the side, Wiedering. May have given a cork to his teammate in. Might be McGovern there, right in the back of the hammy, but the mark was superb.
He's got him a good one there as McGovern gets up. Barely able to walk.
Sheridan Wellingham and Kari Antonio in the box here with us on ABC Grandstand as Luke Jackson takes a good mark. Gives it off to the debutant in Carl Warner. Kicks it right towards McGovern. The man with the cork had to get up and try. Darcy knocked it towards Brayshaw. Hands and knees the Blues. Martin able to clear as the siren sounds to end the third quarter. A 64-point margin for the Blues. A run of 8 straight unanswered goals, 6 in that term. Fremantle couldn't find the big sticks. To say there's a lot of work to do in the fourth quarter would be an understatement, Clint Wheeldon.
Patrick Cripps knows what's coming for the Blues. 4 valuable points. He punches his chest as he looks at his teammates. Broad grin across his face. There's a quarter to come, but Carlton, they've got this all but in the back pocket. 12-12-84 to 2-8-20. The goal kickers, Charlie Curnow's got 2. Harry Mackay's got 3, including his 200th in AFL football. Matt Owies with 2 as well. And singles to Chera, to Kennedy, who's now been subbed off with a knee. Fogarty and McGovern, who might be in strife himself. They can't sub him off, but that was a nasty cork, and he's still in the hands of the trainers as they head towards the huddle. For Fremantle, a goalless term. Their last goal, as I mentioned before, the 7-minute mark of the second quarter. Walters and Jackson, their only goal kickers. Couple of texts to get through very quickly. Sums up pretty well a lot of what I would reckon Carlton supporters are saying. Brett is here in Perth, Carlton supporter. Where has this been all year? We've done it in the past 2 games. We can only play who's in front of us, but what on earth has changed? And then another text from someone who's here at the ground. I don't mind this at all either. Simply put, it's the Blues who want it more. That's from Jeff in Bay 5-4-8. They want to be in the 8 more than Fremantle do. Well, they'll be swapping spots if things stay as they are. They started Carlton in 14th, Fremantle in 11th. Right now on the live ladder, they've swapped spots. The Blues keeping their season alive. 12-12-84 to the Dockers, 2-8-20 wherever you're listening on ABC Radio and Sport Digital. Also on the ABC Listen app. This is Grandstand AFL.
With the ABC Listen app, you can take the footy with you wherever you go. Off to walk the dog?
Take the footy.
Going camping?
Take the footy.
Picnic in the park?
Take the footy.
ABC Sport's expert coverage of the AFL
Incredible grab.
and the NRL. Every goal, try, mark and tackle, live and commercial free. So whatever you're up to,
Take the footy.
take the footy with you on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Beautiful gather, Curnow. Centres it towards centre half forward. Bogarty hands it off to Chera. Chera from 55 out unloads. It's all Carlton in the West.
Cripps gives it to Cottrell. Left foot kick inside, forward 50 goes over the back. Silvani pushes Young off it. Handballs to Owies. And the Blues get another. It's just raining goals for Carlton here. Matthew Owies gets his second. Carlton take the advantage. Chera streaming towards half forward, kicks it inside 50. And Mackay takes a strong mark. We'll go back and line up for goal number 200. The Coleman medalist comes in, kick is good. Goal number 200 for Harry Mackay.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Earlier today, it was the Bombers by 18 over the Crows, and the Cats beat the Kangaroos by 62. George is from Tasmania, texting in saying, I've not seen Carlton beat Fremantle this badly in their history. Not too far off the mark. In fact, the biggest ever win for the Blues over the Dockers is 75 points back in 2001. Right now, it is a 64-point margin. Good chance they could go past that, showed Wellingham, Cara Antonio, unless something changes with Freo. The Blues have been super impressive.
Yeah, they have been. It's been just a slow burn, though, hasn't it? It hasn't been fast and quick scoring. It's just been consistent from the Blues, which I've been super impressed with. They've come with a game. They've come over here with a game plan and implemented it really well. They've dragged them into the trenches and then outbodied them. Haven't let them do any transition football. It's just been well controlled. It's been a really, really controlled win through tactics.
Definitely. And that quarter for me, Chera had the 11 disposals, Cripps with the 9, and a number of clearances for both. Chera with the 5 inside 50s and the goal, that was the difference for me. And Wiedering 4 marks in that quarter. I know he gave a corky to his teammate, but he's been massive in the back half of the ground. They absolutely smashed Fremantle all over the ground, especially in uncontested possessions and contested. So they're winning the inside ball, but then they're also spread from contest has been outstanding, and another 4 goals from turnover that quarter.
Pretty disappointing for Matt Kennedy as well, who
didn't look nice.
Looks like your kind of typical medial ligament, sprain. So
hope it's nothing worse.
Because they can be, your 4 to 6 weeks, which is on the easy end of the scale when it comes to a knee injury. So fingers crossed for him, because he's been having a good game so far.
Some of the stats, Mitch Turner.
So the leading possession getters for both sides. The Dockers, Luke Ryan leads the way with 24 touches, 22 for Hayden Young and Andrew Brayshaw. Jordan Clark with 19. Caleb Sarong with 17 for the Blues. Sam Walsh continuing his good form, 24 disposals. Adam Chera, 23. Patrick Cripps, Sam Doherty, 21 apiece. Blake Acres and Nick Newman with 19. As we quickly check in the inside 50 count, the big one today, 47-33. The way of the Blues. A big quarter coming up for Fremantle as they try and avoid a few records tumbling as their season edges further away from them.
Hitouts are still remarkable, though. 57-15 to Fremantle. Carlton have dominated everything else.
Blues winning the clearances still.
Yep. It's the issue for Freo. They win the clearances on all but one occasions this year. They win. They don't, they lose. Simple stat. As we restart. This has been one down by Young, though, but oddly enough, Fremantle get the clearance through Brayshaw. Kicking the Dockers inside forward 50. Jackson couldn't mark. Tracking back. Schultz gives it off to Sarong. Kicks towards full forward. Umpire spotted a holding decision. It's going the way of Amos. And Jai Amos almost right in front. He'll start in line with the right hand. Goalpost should go back, must go back and kick this for Fremantle.
Well, a good start. Centre clearance is a big tick. Brayshaw straight out. I have to see the replay because it's not where the ball was, so I didn't really see what happened.
Ahead of it, wasn't it?
Jai Amos hasn't had a day to remember so far. It's a stop-start approach. Sends it through with the left. He ends a run of 8 unanswered goals. The Dockers with just their third of the game and their first since the early stages of the second quarter. Carlton 12-84, Fremantle 3-8-26, opening 70 seconds of the final term on Grandstand AFL. Our experts Sharad Willingham and Cara Antonia.
Oh, some very, very cheeky forward craft, which is good to see from Amos there, because not a lot in that. No. He's just done the pinning of the arm and thrown himself to the ground, and it looked like Newman was doing it. So
yeah, very smart.
Nice bit of forward craft. Just don't put your arms in your forwards. Reach.
Found out the hard way, Nick Newman. Amos getting himself a goal. Fremantle's first since the 7-minute mark of the second quarter, as Clint Wheeldon says. Ball back underway in the middle in congestion. Frederick in there for the Dockers. Players dive on top of him to be another ball up. Just see McGovern still on the bench. Well, looks will get down to Poppy Penny shortly and see if she can give us an update on the Carlton defender, as Henry able to fend off an opponent. Gave it to Schultz. Gave it to Sarong. The Dockers running backwards, retreating. They go back 50 metres. Clark eventually able to stop prop and send it forward with a kick towards Sarong. Missed the target. The Blues once again win it back through hands. Cunningham feeds it to Akers. It was a little slow. Caught by Schultz. Coughed it up towards Hayden Young. Kick is a good one up the line of Henry. It was a brief moment, but able to take the mark and kick it into the middle of the ground. Switkowski switches it to Carl Warner. Gets a cheer, the first gamer. His kick though over the head of Frederick. Has to run onto it. Goes inside forward 50 and finds a target in Luke Jackson on the lead. Short hit up. 35, 40 metres out. Very tough angle in the right-hand pocket.
One too many handballs there from Carlton on the wing. But love the kick inside from the Dockers. Just open the fat side of the ground up, and a nice kick from Frederick to Jackson. Very tight angle though.
It's a very quiet day. Luke Jackson has kicked the goal, but just the 5 touches and 9 hit outs. So this one carrying a bit of an injury. Comes in. This will be a very tough kick. Kick is on the way, starting out to the left, goes very far left. Tracy reeled in the mark, but it was too far out of bounds. Freo fans aren't happy, but the boundary umpire was in perfect position, so the Blues win the ball back. Kick to the wing, and Mackay's able to almost take the mark. Spilt it, ball stays in bounds. Henry kept it in. Sarong diving in with courage. Couldn't win the ball. Walsh gets it to Hewitt, the sub. Akers runs away from an opponent, gives it to Doherty, then Fogarty. Shinkotta through the middle of the ground, has Martin at half forward.
Martin marks and pauses. Twirls the red Sharon over in his hands. Decides to go on a run himself. Heads to about 60 from goal. Kicks towards left full forward. Curnow amongst 3 Dockers. Couldn't take the mark. Trying to stretch out Young. Hand pass back into traffic. Hewitt emerges with it. Gives it off to Cunningham. Throws it on the boot. Misses left. Oh, the goal was there at his mercy. Couldn't convert. 12-13, 85 Carlton. 3-8-26 the Dockers. 4.5 gone in the final turn.
Get down to Poppy Penny. Mitch McGovern copped that cork in the third quarter. How's he going down there, Poppy?
Yeah, just waiting for confirmation from the club whether he'll come back on in this final term. But at the moment, he is enjoying a bit of time on the bench with that sore leg.
So may not see the boy from Albany back here again today, but they won't trouble the Blues too much with a very handy margin. 5 minutes into this fourth quarter. 59 points it is as Tracy takes the mark on the wing, sends it inside forward 50. Amos couldn't take the mark. Ball falls the way of Doherty. Diving in, Kemp. Couldn't take the mark in time. Sard gave it to Newman, kicks up the wing. Mackay marks on the logo, brings it inboard, has Fogarty. Then Chincotta uses Walsh, racking up possessions at will. Kicks it out in front of Curnow, has to spin on a dime. Inside forward 50, gave it to Martin. Back to Walsh. Didn't have an option. Handball back to Fogarty on the edge of the 50. Just sends a high one up and under to the hot spot. Ryan is there for the Dockers, takes the mark. And for all the pressure they've been under, he's been pretty good today. Luke Ryan coming up to disposal, number 27.
No one wanted to kick that ball inside forward 50. Over possession there from Carlton.
Kick from Ryan in the direction of Darcy. Mark it cleanly, spilled down to Frederick. Hand pass to a fellow Docker in Clark, then to Sarong. Hand pass out for Warner. Gathered on the bounce. Williams Brayshaw. They share it. Playing keepy offy with Cottrell until Doherty got in the way. Said, I'll have this. Couldn't control it though. Ricocheted off him and over for a boundary throw-in on centre wing, southern side of Perth Stadium. There's a shot of Mitch McGovern on the big screen. He's got plenty of ice on that cork on the left leg, thanks to his teammate in Woodring. We won't be seeing him again today. Certainly not with the way the score is. Probably not anyway, as Cottrell taps it forward, got it on to Young, kicks the Blues towards left half forward. Ryan tapped it down to Clark. Clark couldn't take it cleanly. It comes now to Cripps for the Blues. They've turned it over again, and Curnow snaps and he goals. Charlie Curnow's got 3. Again, the Blues make the most of a turnover from Fremantle, and they punish them on the scoreboard. 13-13-91 to Fremantle, 3-8-26. 7 gone in the final term on Grandstand AFL.
Well, you called it, Clint. Another goal from turnover. 9 goals, 5 today. The Blues have scored from turnover. Really selfless there as well from a number of players that probably could have had a shot. Curnow lucky he had Mackay in the goal square, but a really nice finish for the Blues.
I love the way Cripps has been just taking the game on when he gets possession.
He's so strong. No one can tackle him.
He's just running at his opponents and daring them, or, asking them at least to try and tackle him.
Down to Poppy Penny quickly before we restart.
Hayden Young is in the hands of the Doctors again in this game, so more bad news for Freo.
Okay, we'll get hopefully some updates from Poppy as this fourth quarter continues. O'Meara's kick out to the wing. In front of Schultz, did well to gather. Gave it to Erasmus. Handball over the top to Frederick. Sold a little bit of candy. Stepped around. Good pressure from Walsh with the kick. Falls in the arms of Sarong. Wants to go quickly. Turns. Kicks inside the forward 50. Walters takes the mark on the lead.
Too many Carlton guys sitting back waiting for a long kick there, and the nice pulled short kick from Sarong there.
So the Dockers are just 3 goals today. Walters has 1 of them. Having a pretty solid season, the veterans. Kick 26 goals. Set shot. 35 metres out. Kick is on the way. Goal umpire barely has to move. Walters gets his second. The Dockers get their 4th. So far, they lead in the quarter. 2 goals in this 4th term to the Dockers. They cut the margin back ever so slightly. 4-8-32. They trail Carlton 13-13-91. 59-point margin. 9 minutes gone in the 4th term.
Just dropping back a couple of the Carlton defenders and allowed Michael Walters to come at the kick. So reliable this season. Well, he always has been, but the stats are showing a even more reliable set shot performance from Michael Walters.
Still just the 4th goal for the Dockers. A fairly dismal day from the restart. 1 down again by Darcy. Brayshaw tries to soccer it forward, bounces to Cottrell of the Blues, tackled immediately by O'Meara. Still in the centre square, just inside the outer edge. Attacking side of halfway for Fremantle. We'll ball it up again. Young with the tap down to Martin. Young tackles him. That's Hayden of the Dockers after Lewis of the Blues won the tap. Throwing up again. Lewis Young wins it down. Cripps looked to shovel it out. Umpire spotted a holding decision. It's going the way of Carlton. It was Walsh who was being infringed. Cripps takes the advantage. Hand pass to Cottrell. Back to Cripps. Forward of the wing. Southern side. Not sure where to go. Plenty of options though. Doherty goes back. And crouching down, Chincotta marks on the logo. Southern side of Perth Stadium. 13-13-91. Plays 4-8-32. 11 gone in the last.
So the kick goes deep inside the forward 50 for Carlton. Mackay couldn't mark. Martin got it to Fogarty. Now Walsh. Hewitt, the sub. Oh, fancy bit of footwork. Steps around, looks for a teammate. Can't find him. Hughes did well to affect the spoil. Erasmus taken to ground at the top of the square. No prior. Umpire will ball it up. Game just teetering along at the moment. The Dockers desperately would like to win this last quarter to salvage something going forward as Darcy taps it straight to Martin, taken in a tackle. Brayshaw just ripped it out. Got it to Erasmus. Did he take Hewitt on? How will the umpire see it circling? No. Ball up again. So 59-point margin. Plenty of time left in this fourth quarter for the Dockers to find something. Warner dives in game one. Ball bobbling around. Silvani extracted it. Gave it to Cottrell. Left foot snap around the body is wide, very wide. Out of bounds on the full. So Luke Ryan will take possession and reset play for the Dockers again.
Matt Kennedy has just emerged. He's in the tracksuit out of the Carlton rooms. Looking very slowly. Certainly concerned still over the knee. In crutches though, which is a promising sign as the Dockers go the outer side and Newman provides a bump on Warner. Still the ball in dispute. Lewis Young got his head over it, gave it to Silvani, hand passed up into the air and then looked to slap it forward a second time but can only see it over the line for a throw-in on the southern wing. Poppy Penny downstairs.
Yeah, as you say, Matt Kennedy is coming back onto the ground. He's got a brace on that knee and the club are hopeful that it's just a sprain at this stage.
Crowd 49,469 in today at Perth Stadium.
Plenty of Carlton fans in attendance and plenty of, you'd assume, as disappointed Fremantle fans as Ryan did very well. The tackle wasn't rewarded, but the Dockers able to win it anyway. Hughes through the middle, had to beat a man, tried to get round him, couldn't. Slammed to the ground, holding the ball. Couldn't get through Sam Doherty. Not many can. Holding the ball in the middle of the ground, and that summarises the day a little bit for the Dockers. Unable to get anything going as Doherty kicks it inside 450. Curnow couldn't mark. O'Meara gave it to Pearce, taken in a tackle, tried to get rid of the ball. Umpire agrees and it'll be balled up. Just Brennan Cox off the back of that pack looking very sore still. Poppy Penny's been telling us all day and certainly has a limp on now as ball goes back into play. Carlton win the ball. Chera runs into trouble, taking a tackle, one-handed handball, holding the ball. Dockers take the advantage. Erasmus got it from Schultz. Gives it to A. Short kick up the wing. Walters has to take it on the bounce. Couldn't. Walsh went in hard, won the ball, and gets a high tackle for his troubles too. Terrific effort from Sam Walsh. Has been terrific all day. He's already had the 30 disposals. This will be number 31. He'll get the chance to send Carlton forward again from the wing.
He gave the free kick away, diving in, looking to lock the ball in. Actually, that crowd, by the way, 49,469, the biggest ever between these two clubs. Most of the numbers are turning up today. Lead disappointed. Blues fans here, though, will be thrilled, as they will be around the nation as Carlton head towards right half forward. And Akers, the former Docker, marks. Kicks towards the top of the 50. Curnow flew, hit the deck hard. Umpire spots a free kick. Docker taken high. Henry thought about playing the advantage for a moment. We'll pause. It'll come back to Hayden Young. He'll have it at left half back. Kurnow's up. He's all right. 3 goals today. He's more than all right. Moves it short here, Hayden Young, onto Ethan Hughes. Still at left half back. Nothing really to go to ahead of him. So Hughes for Fremantle is forced to go back to Clark. He's the furthest man back in defence between fullback and centre half back. Still unsure where to go. We'll look to move it out towards the wing. Oh, Rasmus was waiting. He would have heard the footsteps coming from Akers. Showed courage to stand there and take the mark. It's a shocking kick, runs along the ground. Hewitt can't gather cleanly. Missed it on the logo, picking it up. Aish goes short to Jackson, who marks 51 from goal at centre half forward. Has to track back. Took a while to move it on. Elects to play on by hand to Erasmus. Moves it short to Sarong. Top of the square. Won't have the carry. The big Kahuna at front position. Tracy won it down. Switkowski snaps and goals. Sam Switkowski puts his name on the list of goal kickers. Freo have got their 5th. Lopsided game, but looking to just add a bit of respectability to the margin. It's back to 53 points. 16 gone in the last. 13-13-91 the Blues. 5-8-38 the Dockers on Grandstand AFL, ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital, and streaming on the ABC Listen app. Our experts in the West today, Cara Antonio and Sharad Wellingham.
I was a little bit hesitant on this, or questioned the decision of Action Jackson not to get it in there quickly with a couple of Fremantle forwards and Nids running into space, but ended up being probably the right decision. Put it to a dangerous spot at the top of the goal square. And the big Kahuna didn't try and actually mark that. He knew he had his small forwards coming down, just brought it to a really dangerous spot, and Switkowski with a good angle cutting across and quick hand to foot. Beautiful across left shoulder goal.
So a good finish from the Fremantle small forward, Sam Switkowski. Something for the Dockers fans to cheer about as the Blues go forward again. Curnow out in the lead, couldn't take the mark. There was a push. It's going the way of Fremantle though, and it'll go to Luke Ryan. So the Dockers win the free kick. Ryan able to just clear defence to Erasmus. It's a little shaky by foot at times today, the young man. Not a lot to go to. Called to play on. Eventually goes wide and is able to find Liam Henry. Disposal number 20. Having a good run of form. Goes back to Erasmus. The Dockers fans very quiet here at Perth Stadium as Erasmus kick up the wing. Jackson in front, couldn't take the mark. Free kick going the way of the big man though for a push. So Jackson wins the free kick. This time he does want to move it in quickly. Kicks towards Amos. Frederick in front, couldn't take the mark. Switkowski gave the handball. Put it in the path of Walters, couldn't do anything with it taken. The ball up 20 metres around from the Dockers goal. Just couldn't quite get clean possession. They might have another chance here though.
Ball thrown aloft. Jackson tapped it down. Spilled out though. Cunningham clearing kick away into the middle of the ground. Curnow gathered, sweeping hand pass towards the logo. Hayden Young has the turn. Might have tackled Martin without it. Umpire says play on anyway. Emerging with it, Walsh. Hand passes back to Chera in the middle of the ground. He'll put a lovely kick for Cottrell to run onto inside forward 50. He can go short and pop one over the top if he wants. Mackay was screaming for it. Cottrell will go back. And he'll kick from just inside 50. Starting in line with a left hand behind post.
Just another great passage of ball movement from Carlton to come back inside the corridor. We called it at quarter time, Shaz. Results in a mark inside forward 50 and a scoring opportunity to the Blues.
Kick one out of bounds on the full earlier today. 3-2 for the season. Matthew Cottrell back in the team. And on the goal kickers list today for the Blues. 14 goals for Carlton. At the 20-minute mark of the last, they're 14-13-97 to Fremantle 5-8-38. The lead back to 59 points here on Grandstand AFL. Repeating earlier today, the Bombers by 18 over the Crows and Geelong by 62 over North Melbourne.
It was a little bit of a haphazard handball from Curnow, but it was into space.
Yeah.
And he knew that he would have teammates running onto that, and then the change of angle to cut inside, Cottrell running down the outer wing, Really, really beautiful kick. I'm not sure who it was who put it onto Cottrell, but it was an absolutely beautiful kick. Chera. Beautiful kick, wasn't it?
It was.
Waited, drew him into the inside 50.
Darcy wins yet another hit out. The umpire will call it back for a hold. It's going away. It's going to the Carlton captain, Patrick Cripps. Goes short to Chera. Another delivery inside, forward 50. Flying from the back was Pearce. Was able to spoil. Martin tries to rip it out. Young has him in a tackle. Ball's not going anywhere. Umpire will ball it up again. So, Sean Darcy, equal career high, 56 hit-outs now as Mackay wins this one, so he won't break that just yet as the ball will be wrapped up again. Will be another ball up. So, Darcy and Mackay, I wonder how the stats team will see that one. The ball tapped down. In there is Fogarty for Carlton. Got it to Sarong, then Ryan. Ryan's kick outside defensive 50, looking to the wing. Couldn't quite get it to Tracy. Ball knocked down. The Blues win it back. Doherty steps around an opponent, goes short, finds Cunningham. So the Blues going back inside forward 50, and again Ryan dropping back for the Dockers, able to take the intercept mark. It's done relatively well considering the amount of inside 50s Carlton have pumped in today. The Fremantle, former All-Australian and Doig medalist. This time's going short to Erasmus, who kicks it up the wing and gives it straight back to Carlton, and Jack Silvani has the ball.
Silvani sends it towards full forward. It's a thumping kick, but Pearce was up and takes the mark. In his 100th game, it'll be a game he'd rather forget, the Dockers captain.
Officially a hit out for Sean Darcy as well, Clint, so career high, 57.
It's a record for Fremantle's. Darcy hasn't had a great deal of impact on the scoreboard though. Turnovers have cost them so dearly today. The balling dispute, right half back for Fremantle. Brayshaw got it out to Sarong. Quick kick down the line. There's Cottrell again. Tackled though by Schultz. Got a hand pass out the back to Chera, to Doherty. Now to Chincotta. Goes back by hand to Wiedering. He'll caress the pass to Doherty, marking just shy of the logo. Southern wing. And he'll go short again as they look to build up once more through Kemp. Points in the direction he's going to kick it, which is towards the left forward pocket. Going out towards Mackay. Oh, crashing in to Darcy. Darcy has been hit heavily here. He's given away the free kick, though, taking Mackay high. Darcy's in a world of hurt. He's a big lad, and normally those sort of collisions don't worry him too much, but he's crouching over for a moment, takes a few deep breaths. It's like a mountain range colliding with an oncoming tsunami. Here comes Mackay. From 50 out, 45-degree angle to the left, he puts it across the face. It's a minor score. Not to be for what would have been his 201st goal. 14, 91, 98 rather. Taken on the behind line, it must have been. 5-8-38, the Dockers, 23 gone in the last.
So, Hayden Young with the ball deep in defence, wants to move it up the wing, looking for Walters, got away from the man. Umpire called play on, touched. Taking a ground, Walters, there'll be a ball up, just backward of the wing on the broadcast side here at Perth Stadium. By Ray Chamberlain, gets it back underway. Darcy yet another hit out, tried to find Switkowski, couldn't. Cripps stole it away, gave it to Akers. Now Chincotta chose not to give the handball, kicks it inside forward 50, and once again Luke Ryan takes the intercept mark, his 10th mark for the day. Disposal number 33 coming up as he sends it back to which it came and back to the player it came from as Chincotta takes the mark. So a little bit of kick to kick between Luke Ryan and Alex Chincotta as he goes back in the Ryan direction again, and Luke Ryan takes the mark. So genuine kick to kick here at Perth Stadium between Luke Ryan and Alex Chincotta as Ryan this time goes away from him and Jackson takes a leaping mark in the middle of the ground. Hits the deck, plays on, kicks towards O'Meara. Wiedering did well, knocked it away, followed up his work.
Got it to Cunningham. Cottrell went back and gathered. Kicks it up the wing. Looking for Curnow. Brayshaw cuts in front. Feeds the handball to Erasmus. Kicks up the wing and Jackson again. Another high flyer. Takes the mark. Causes some pain. Turns. Kicks inside the forward 50. Over the back. Walters swoops. Walters kicks. Dribbles across the face. Just got a nudge as he kicked. Couldn't get it through the big sticks. And it's a minus score. So 5-9-39 the Dockers. 14-14, 98. 59-point margin. 26 gone in the fourth quarter. A nice little mark by Luke Jackson.
Adam Sard had to get
Not
up,
happy.
collect his wits, his teeth. Oh, goodness me. He would have known about that. He was the stepladder. As the kick from the Blues comes towards right half back. And Mackay marks. It's interesting we saw kick to kick and then almost king of the pack. All the old footy games going on downstairs as the Blues just mess around with it across half back. Harry Mackay.
They should be trying to get it in there as quick as possible. Luke Ryan's up on the wing.
Yeah, they are indeed. Now they'll kick to the pack. Oh, big fly, Silvani. Not quite. Couldn't bring it down. Fogarty tackled there by Ryan, and that's going to be holding the ball. That was a good fly from Silvani too. Everyone's trying to take big hangers at the moment. Dockers will have it at left half back through Ryan. He'll caress the pass back to Aish in the long sleeves for Fremantle. It's all about the Blues though. Their lead remains 59 points, 27 gone in the last.
Seem to remember a big mark back in the day when a Mackay kicked to the wing. The Carlton player flew high. It wasn't quite Alex Jezelenko from Jack Silvani, but he didn't get up. Erasmus just kicks it up, looking for a target on the wing. Couldn't find Frederick, knocked it away. Brayshaw able to gather. Kicks it around his body, going towards half forward. Schultz takes the mark, has a man on in the pocket, couldn't get it to Amos. Chopped off by Newman, did well, goes short. Oh, and gave it straight back to Schultz. Plays on, kicks it inside. Frederick takes the mark. We'll go back and have a set shot from 35, 40 metres out as we quickly get down to Poppy Penny.
Alex Pearce was just in the hands of the doctors and the trainers. He's got a pretty heavy limp, and we know he's had a sore leg for a couple of weeks.
So not good news. He was subbed off a few weeks ago, Alex Pearce, so not good news for the Dockers captain in game number 100, adding insult to injury. So Michael Frederick comes in. Set shot is on the way. Kick looks good off the boot. Goal umpire doesn't move. It's a goal for Fremantle, but it's not the result they want. The season on the line. The Blues come over to the West. They get the job done. They make it 3 wins on the trot. Their finals hopes still alive. Carlton fans rejoicing in the crowd here at Perth Stadium as the song rings out. 53-point winners here at Perth Stadium.
We are the old dark navy blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark blues.
In the end, Carlton did it easily. 53 points to the good. They won the first quarter by 24 points, the second by 1 to lead by 25 at half-time, and then pushed it out to a 64-point advantage at three-quarter time. The Blues 14-14-98 to the Dockers 6-9-45. Blue heaven in the West, 3 straight wins. Carlton remain alive in season 2023.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know
For the Fremantle Dockers, they need to stick a purple jumper on Tom Cruise because playing finals this year has become mission impossible. It's a loss that will have an enormous impact on Fremantle's chances. They needed to win 6 of 8, make that now 6 of 7. Fremantle, you would suspect, they're done and dusted for 2023. But there's a lot to like about Carlton, and again, a number of our correspondents on the text line. If you want to get in touch and ask us a question, pose something to Sharad, Zakara, make a statement. If you're a Fremantle supporter, what have you made of that? 0437 774 774. But a number of Blues fans going, where has this been all season? There was a bright spark at the start of proceedings and then a very costly slump in the middle. But they've leapt up into 11th spot. They're a game, and admittedly hefty percentage out of the 8. But they're still in the mix, the Blues, after 3 straight wins. Sharon, Cara, give us your thoughts.
I thought that it was a well-executed and well-strategised game plan from Carlton. They knew what they were going to be coming up against in Darcy and Jackson, and came up with a plan and stuck to it really well throughout the game. Their willingness to give up probably some dominance in their forward 50 when they know that they've got Curnow and Mackay up there, like to know that, okay, it's going to go in there, we might not score every time, but we're going to continue to put it in there, and we've just got to make sure that we don't get beaten at the source of the stoppages. So, all right, we'll give up a little bit inside our forward 50. We've got enough talent up there that if we get it in there enough times, what do they say? The straw of the camel's back will break. So that's the way I think that it'll be interesting to have a chat to them, to who we can have a chat to after the game. But well executed and a pretty mature performance. That's the kind of performance that you see from a well-coached and well-drilled side. But am I super disappointed with the performance from Fremantle? I don't know. I don't know yet, because I just feel like they got their game style taken away from them a little bit too easily.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Obviously, they've done their homework really, really well, Carlton. They were happy to give it up the hit-outs, which they know they were going to lose anyway, but their work, for me, inside to win contested ball, but dominate uncontested ball as well, almost plus 40 on uncontested. So, the likes of Cripps, he had 29 touches, but 24 of those were handballs, because he was the bull that was willing to win the ball inside to get it out to the likes of your Walshes or Chera, Doherty, Newman. So they clearly knew what they needed to do to win the game, and I was really impressed. They all seem like they're on the same page, very consistent theme to what Vossi has been saying in the media about even contribution across the board. Their backs held up really well. Sard with the run. Boyd won some really important one-on-one contests. Deep, Wiedering, a number of marks. I just felt like I was actually really impressed with how Carlton came out, and four quarters of really impressive footy, and how they obviously want to play their game. Were able to do it for long periods tonight. So
pretty disciplined display, really, wasn't it?
It was. It really was. And again, like, they're tall timbers down forward. Curnow kicked 3, Mackay kicked 3. Probably Mackay's best game for the year, to be honest. Had the 20 touches as well, a number of marks, and took his opponent up the ground, which allowed Curnow to isolate himself ahead. Everyone just was driven by the role that they needed to play to execute the game plan and their system, and they came up with the 4 points very convincingly.
We pointed to it throughout the coverage, but Carlton's ability to win the clearance count, despite the one-sided nature of the ruck contest, 70-18 the hit-out score, what the count was in the end, yet they win the clearances by 7, 42-35.
Yep.
I mean, it's on one side, it's damning for Fremantle that they can have such dominance and not take advantage, but it's also a massive positive for Carlton. They've gone in without a recognised ruckman. They used Lewis Young and Jack Silvani today. No Tom De Koning, no Mark Pitnett. and able to win the clearance count is must be a massive confidence boost for them in the middle going forward as well.
And it just goes to show there's many ways to skin a cat. You don't have to, rely on one way of doing it, and they're playing the cards that they're dealt. They haven't got someone who they've got the confidence in taking it up to Darcy in trying to nullify him with his hands. So, all right, we know you're going to get to it. We'll do a mountain of homework during the lead up and know where you're going and what your structures look like. And then around that, we will position our defenders and our forwards in a way that even if you do win it, we're likely to turn it over, or you're going to have to go really slowly and get through us. Pretty impressive tactic and execution by the guys out on the field.
Marcus from South Melbourne sends the text. Freo could have had a young East Freo lad called Patrick Cripps, ironic that. Alas for my Dockers, Marcus, with respect. That's actually not true, because in 2013, Fremantle had a reasonably good season, and so therefore he'd been picked up at pick 13 to head to Carlton before Freo had any opportunity to have a pick the days before you could trade up and all those sorts of things. But no doubt they would have loved to have kept him. Certainly plenty of talk about how good he was going to be from what he'd done with the WA-18s. Michael Voss genuinely looks like a proud father standing at the top of the race, applauding his team and telling them to make their way off the ground. It's the two 100 gamers that will head down into the rooms first. Charlie Curnow had a big game today. So too did Nick Newman. Both super impressive in games 100. Curnow with 3 goals, 3 key ones as well. Let's go down into the Carlton rooms. They'll belt this out, I reckon, for the 3rd time in a row, the club song. 14-14-98 Carlton to 6-9-45 the Dockers. Poppy Penny's downstairs in amongst the Blues rooms.
There are plenty of friends and family down here as well. Everyone very excited as they come in. There's lots of handshaking, lots of hugs. They're going over to the support staff and the coaches and getting around them before they huddle up and get ready to sing the song. You're right, I think they are going to belt this one out. It was a comprehensive win from Carlton. Loads of friends and family videoing this as they circle up and all get involved. Nice to see Matt Kennedy as well with that brace on his knee, getting involved as they circle up ready to sing the Carlton song. They're just waiting for Charlie Curnow to get in. Here we go.
Nice to spot a few Blues legends in the rooms too. John Dorotich down there, Carlton Premiership player and a former member of Grandstand AFL, just standing there as the Blues make their way into the rooms. We'll be downstairs again very shortly, hopefully to have a chat to Adam Cerra, who we missed talking to here in the West. Concerns, of course, understandably, for what will happen with Matt Kennedy with the knee problem. That was a real blow for Carlton, but they were able to fight their way through it. Huge game for them next week. Port Adelaide at the Docklands. It's the Saturday twilight game, and then they'll host West Coast at the Docklands as well. There's a lot to like for the Blues if they can somehow manufacture a win over Port next week. That would be something. Port now winning 13 straight games.
And depending on how bad that cork is, they could be without Mitch McGovern if it doesn't get up in time. Corks don't always heal in a week. We've seen plenty of players miss weeks with corks, so another small injury concern ahead of that game. They'd dearly like him in that clash against Port Adelaide with some of the firepower they've been producing out forward recently.
We'll touch on the other games as well throughout what's been an interesting weekend very shortly, and also before we wrap things up from this game, just have a bit of a deeper dive into what this all means for Fremantle and just what happened today for the Dockers. But while we wait to hear from the Carlton rooms, we'll go down there in just a moment. Let's have a look at some of the numbers. Mitch Turner's got them in front of him.
The lead and disposal getters for the day for the Dockers. Luke Ryan with 35 touches. Andrew Brayshaw, 32. Jordan Clark, 26. Hayden Young with 25 and Caleb Sarong with 24. Heading over the disposal getters for Carlton. Sam Walsh, brilliant all day. 32 touches. Patrick Cripps, 29 disposal. Interesting to note, hasn't hit 30 since round 7 this year, Patrick Cripps. It was a bit unusual for him. Just short today with 29. Sam Doherty, 28. Adam Chera, the former Docker, with 27. Blake Akers, his fellow former Dockers teammate, 23. And Nick Newman in game 100. Also with 23 disposals as well. Just some of those team stats going through the list. The total disposals, Carlton 398 to 344, winning most of the key stats all day. Contested possessions as well, 155 to 135 Fremantle. Again, losing that stat. 90 to 82 in the marks. Marks inside 50, 13 to 9. Total inside 50s, 60 to 42 in favour of Carlton as well. The hit-out count, as we mentioned before, Fremantle dominating 70 to 18, but losing the clearances 42 to 35. Carlton getting the better of that one. And just one more to note, as we mentioned throughout the call, Sean Darcy, as part of that hit-out count, 58 of his own with a career high there, beating his previous best of 56, which was against the Eagles last season, and it wasn't a ruckless Eagles, it was actually a Nick Nat-Nui Eagles. So there's one for Sean Darcy, but the Dockers unable to capitalise on that dominance in the ruck.
Am I being unfair in thinking this is possibly the most bewildering result from the weekend?
I thought it would have been closer.
I mean, I'm not saying that I thought, well, I did think Fremantle would win, but I wasn't surprised if Carlton was going to take the points. But the way that the Blues played and absolutely took the whole game away from Fremantle, the depth of contribution from the Blues, and I guess there's that little bit of, you are a little bit suspect when they go into a game. They've beaten Gold Coast at the MCG and then have beaten Hawthorn at the MCG, and you think, well, how good are they? To see what they did to another side that was hoping to play finals today, I'm staggered by how good they were and how quick they were when they moved the football, and also just how bad Fremantle were as well. I kept thinking there'd be a response, and it just didn't come.
I'm probably more of the latter, how bad Fremantle were. They just didn't get into their groove at all for the whole game.
Cara?
As I said before, I was very impressed with Carlton. You mentioned the last couple of wins haven't been against sides that are, in the 8 or pressing to play finals. However, watching Carlton at the start of the year and going through a few slumps, you thought, oh, where are they? And this afternoon, they were able to play their game on their terms for 4 consistent quarters. And Fremantle, unfortunately, again, got beaten up all around the ground in the contest where the game we said at the start of the call would be won and lost, and they got absolutely smashed. Obviously not with hit-outs, but with uncontested and contested possessions, clearances, first possession, and that's where Carlton got all their drive from. And turnovers killed them. To kick the amount of, what did they kick? 9 goals, 6 Carlton from turnovers. And that is the game earlier on in the first half was where the game was won and lost. And I was expecting a response from Fremantle in the second half, but Carlton came out to their credit and were able to continue on from what they'd built in that first half of footy.
I'm more surprised by the Essendon Adelaide game. That was a bit of a surprise.
18-point win to the Bombers. I thought the Crows would get up there.
I thought the Crows would get that.
Agreed.
I think it's probably the size of the margin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a
complete non-show.
Yeah,
They never fired a shot.
I hate to say a lack of effort, but I was struggling to think of another way.
I don't think it was lack of effort, though.
But they never looked like they were in the contest.
No, but that was, I think, because of how Carlton did it. Like, it wasn't like I was sitting here going, geez, Fremantle aren't switched on today. It was just like they had no answers.
Superstars were good. Jack Martin was very good today at times.
Yeah,
but he was terrific.
A couple of good, important contests.
For me, it looks like, and this is the only way I can describe it, they got bullied. They got bullied inside by the big, the likes of Cripps, Walsh, Chera. They got bullied inside and they got bullied defensively at times when Luke Ryan had 10 marks. A lot of those were intercepts and the ball coming in helped him mark the ball. And he had 35 touches and he kicked out every single time. So I think when you look at it, they just got bullied and they couldn't fire a shot in the forward half of the ground. When the ball went in, the defence of Carlton stood up and they looked strong when the ball was in their area. And yeah, it was an impressive. I was actually really impressed, as I've said before, really impressed with Carlton's game today, and they should take a lot of confidence out of that for the remainder of the season.
It's not just what they've been able to do too, but just having a quick glance through some of the stats, the ability to hold teams to low scores. Their defence has been immense.
One of the best in the comp.
So 53 points they won today and held Fremantle to 45, and then they held the last two opponents to 60 and 59 respectively. Both impressive performances. Let's head down into the Carlton rooms. Poppy Penny.
Yeah, we've actually just had a really lovely presentation to Charlie Curnow as well. Him and Ed are the first two brothers to play 100 games for the Carlton Football Club. But I'm with Adam Chera, huge for the Carlton season. What does that game mean now for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're just getting back to our process each week. If you notice, we've had a bit of a shift in our game probably a month ago. We've focused on our contest and our pressure and relying on that to clean up any mistakes going forward and just keep us in the game. So it just continues to prove to ourselves that we can compete if we bring our pressure in our contest game, and we just got to keep this momentum going and keep playing our way.
How much work did you guys put in as a midfield group on working on reading the taps of Sean Darcy? It was, with Silvani in the ruck, and he was very dominant today, Sean Darcy. How much work did you guys put in through the week into, making sure that you guys could get the clearance game going despite losing the hit-outs?
Yeah, we did a bit. Similar to last week, Hawthorn had two pretty big ruckmen, and we got to train it. We've got to set up for the scramble ball, knowing that, especially tonight, Sean's going to have a lot of hit-outs. He always was going to, no matter what ruckman was in, really. So, we've got to get to work on our craft. We do a lot of work together as a midfield group, and just try to set up for the scramble ball and our pressure game and just try to win the ball back. So, it's worked the last couple of weeks, and it's something that we'll keep continuing to build.
Obviously, you've spent a bit of time in WA in your career. What is it like coming back and playing against some of your old mates who I understand you're still pretty good friends with? Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy it. I had a really good 4 years here, and I was drafted with 10 or 11 other blokes. A few of them are still in Perth at the moment, so it's always good to come back and catch up with them, as well as when they're in Melbourne. And I'm always trying to catch up with them and see them. And there's the other relationships that I'll probably keep forever, and I'm really grateful for. So I love getting back, and while it's pretty hot and fiery out in the field, we still able to chat in the pre-game, post-game, and have a laugh about it. So it's good fun. In the victorious Carlton rooms with Adam Chera, I'm going to throw upstairs to Clint Wilden, Mitch Turner, Cara Antonio, and Sharad Willingham.
Adam, Sharad here, congratulations on the great win and the turn of form. It's as a team, it's really impressive. I was saying up here, in a game you have to give something up if you want to get something, and we felt like you guys, with knowing that Darcy was going to get a lot of hit-outs, you had to get some more numbers around the stoppage, and you were going to maybe give up on being efficient when you went inside 50. Was that ever spoken about from your change rooms, or is that something that just kind of looked at from up here?
No, it definitely was spoken about. As I mentioned before, we've had to go to work on our craft, knowing that we're probably not going to be getting those clean hits